The Phoenix Rising pregame show is brought to you by Reese's Dental and Braces.
The most successful team in USL Championship regular season history takes talent, accolades, and all their splendor to a fickle and oftentimes cruel single elimination format. Forget everything you knew about the daunting 34-game, 7-month regular season. This is the 2019 USL Championship postseason as the runaway favorites and #1 seed Phoenix Rising Football Club take on the #8 seed and expansion club Austin Bold FC right here at Casino Arizona Field. Tyler Terrence along with the ex-German pro Devin Kerr. So glad to have you with us. Pregame, as always, brought to you by Reese's Dental. Devin will take a look at the West bracket as it stands. We got results piling up left and right. It's starting to become very clear who is going to be in the Western Conference semifinal.
Real Monarchs took care of business, 6-2. It was a drubbing for the ages, especially with the red card by Harry Forrester. But how about Republic FC? The boys in Old Glory Red have gone on the road after the play-on game and knocked off Reno 1868. Sacramento Republic trying to atone for their sins when they were the 1 seed back in 2016.
Let's focus on the task at hand here in the Valley of the Sun. For Phoenix Rising FC, they've only lost 4 games this season. Austin Bold, one of the teams to get the better of them.
Something you got to think about with this matchup as well is that they led or drew for 108 out of 180 minutes. So 60% of the time, this team has been right there with this beautiful run of Phoenix Rising FC. Now, yes, I get it. 6-0 just a few weeks ago in July. But the Sion McFarland substitution and injury in the 35th, 40th minute, and the red card was a lot of cause for concern. That team held their own on the road. I promise you, they are going to toe the line with the best of them tonight.
And while the postseason is just an entirely different world, you cannot ignore what Phoenix were able to accomplish during the regular season, breaking every single record you could possibly imagine, records that probably will stand the test of time.
No matter what happened, whether it was for the organization itself or individual accolades, every single person, player, that has any involvement with this team whatsoever, there's a bigger picture here. Yes, they got the points record. Yes, it's wins. Yes, they're looking after the MVP. But most importantly, they are looking to add another trophy to that mantle. They're hoping that comes on November 17th.
And one of the awards that they got for being so good during the regular season is that they get the #1 seed. But Devin, if you look at the history books, the #1 seed in the Western Conference is probably the last place you want to be.
I'll take you all the way back to 2013. That's 6 years we're going to go back. 4 of those teams have not made it out of the first round, so that is not something that history is on their side. 2014 Sacramento Republic, it was not East and West back then. They actually went and won the whole thing. They would have been the 2 seed. And then Orange County, Phoenix is going to remember this last year, made it all the way to the finals. Otherwise, it was one and done.
For 7 months, both of these sides have put in blood, sweat, and tears. For one side, they're expected to get all the way to the point they got to a year ago. For the other, they're the new kids on the block. It's Austin and Phoenix in the Western Conference quarterfinals.
At Arizona Federal, our passion is to help out the community where you live and work, because where you bank should make you feel good. Show your support for the home team with the Phoenix Rising Visa debit card. When you open a new account, you can score $100 just for using your card when you shop. How's that for an easy goal? Be a part of our commitment to the community. Arizona Federal Credit Union.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a few years old or dinosaur old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
Mobile Mini is a lockdown defender. Have peace of mind using Mobile Mini, guarding all of your valuables on site, at home, or at your business. Mobile Mini storage containers are made of 100% steel and maximize your protection with our patented Tri-Cam locking system that is camera-proof, cut-proof, and drill-proof. Proud partner of Phoenix Rising FC.
Almost ready to go here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Phoenix and Austin being led out onto the field by our head referee and his crew, Elvis Osmanovic. Tonight's broadcast presented by Equality Healthy and Tyler Terrence and Devin Kerr. So glad to have you with us as the best time of the year is finally here, postseason time. Devin, let's take a look at the starting 11 for Rick Johnson, the Western Conference and regular season champions of 2019.
Spoiler alert. No changes. Why would you? I mean, this team is starting to get better once again. And as the season went on, okay, you get the win streak. They lose to Fresno. Then how do you react? Wasn't necessarily the best run of form we saw down the stretch. However, they gained a massive amount of momentum in the Energy FC game. They will continue forth. Of course, that front three has been doing wondrous things. They'll look to continue. What are you going to get out of Marcelo Serrano and Austin Bold FC? This is a team that has really rallied around its troops under an unfortunate circumstance. We'll talk about that later. They're going to sit in a 4-4-1-1. This team bounced a lot mid-season. They showed a lot of different looks. They still will. You'll see a lot of rotation. Keep an eye on number 17, Sion McFarlane, the outside back, and number 45, Ima Tumasi. Both I and Rick Shantz agree that these two guys are the ones that are going to give them balance and pace to counter this team, but also give them a different look. You're going to get that 1-2 punch on the outsides. If it forces it to the interior, that is going to suit quite nicely for Phoenix Rising.
And of course, this is an Austin Bold side that's coming off of their play and match against Los Angeles Galaxy to a professional, in the words of Rick Shantz's performance against the Los Dos side that picked it up incredibly in the second half of the season under Junior Gonzalez. This is a Phoenix Rising Football Club side that has been looking to get back to the postseason, but specifically back to the USL Championship final since their loss against Louisville almost a year ago. Now they are finally in that time of the year where they can start to take real steps in doing that, and it starts right here at Casino Arizona Field. It looks like Elvis Osmanovic is ready to go. We hope you are as well. Turn off the world, turn on the game. It's playoff time in the Valley of the Sun. Phoenix and Austin Bold for 90, possibly more minutes. Right off the bat, Junior Flemings and Elobio Kugo getting into it a little bit. It was Flemings and Sion McFarlane who had an absolute bout in the first half the last time that these two met right here at Casino Arizona Field until McFarlane came off with an injury right around the 38th minute, and the game completely changed. And then, of course, who could forget the 1-0 win on the league's biggest stage in Wednesday Night Soccer back in the Lone Star State all the way in April. Kevin Lambert will just keep it in the form of Mustafa Dumbuya and gets it right back. Dumbuya gets a late challenge. Osmanovic didn't see it. And with the Monarchs drubbing of Orange County earlier today, it will be the winner of this match that takes on Jameson Olave's group that actually beat Phoenix right here just a couple weeks ago to snap their 17-match unbeaten streak in the desert. As Lambert is called for the foul, and while we have a moment, let's take a look at tonight's Mayo Clinic injury report. And for Phoenix Rising FC, it continues to be the youngster and the keeper of this side, Brendan Keniston. And Larry Saramutin with a lower body injury. We expected him to be at least somewhere near the 18 as a bit of miscommunication between Zach Lubin and Corey Whelan. And our first corner of the evening coming up in favor of the visitors.
They were hoping he was going to be able to make his way back, but not the case. Questionable coming in, doesn't crack into that squad for Marcelo Serrano, but still a massive amount of talent. And it's not just the 11. This is a team that has one of the older average ages around all of the USL Championship. Forget the Western Conference, guys with MLS experience, Liga MX, European experience, guys like Edson Brafite. Now, can they get it done on the road with all the variables stacked up against them?
Bias lofts it in. Zach Lubin with a strong punch away. And it'll be interesting to see Zach Lubin and his performance moving into the postseason, especially given the blunder against the Monarchs in the penultimate matchup this season right here at Casino Arizona Field that snapped that unbeaten streak at home. And it was actually the USL Championship who released a little bit of an X-Factor game, if you will, for each team within the postseason. And Zach Lubin was the X-Factor for Phoenix, according to the league offices. Lambert trying to stick a toe in there. Fleming's trying to turn, and Osmanovic didn't like what he saw, and he'll call a foul in favor of Phoenix. And let's take a look at tonight's All-Sco uniform report. For Austin Bold in their all-whites with the blue accents, and then for Phoenix Rising FC, it's not a Friday, but they're still going with their copper states. It's not a Friday, right? Last time I checked.
I've asked you the last couple times exactly what day it is. It used to be the month, but Seems like this time of year, we're spoiled with all the games and very fortunate to be around all of it, just struggling to keep our heads above water, but I'll take it anytime we get an opportunity to see matchups such as this, all the storylines behind it. And this is different. It is not regular season football. Single elimination does something to an environment that, unless you've been a part of it, it is really hard to describe. Throw all of it out the window. Teams like Louisville City seem to turn it up at the end of every year. Pittsburgh Riverhounds can just trudge along all season long in the Eastern Conference, and then come playoff time, struggle to get it going. They didn't tonight as they packed 7 in the back of the net against Birmingham Legion. But what does the Western Conference hold? Real Monarchs came out with a statement victory. Sacramento Republic now following suit. And I promise you, Phoenix Rising, Fresno, El Paso Locomotive, Austin have taken notice to all the fireworks that are going on around the league, and they want to be in that spotlight as well.
Well, for Rick Johnson, Phoenix Rising, they were able to take some time to celebrate all of their success during the regular season. It's an incredible body of work and the incredible amount of success that came with that body of work. They took a couple days, about 48 hours so, to enjoy their spoils that they so deservedly were able to acquire, but then it was back to work immediately as Austin, coming with a little bit of pressure here, and they're able to win the ball back in a dangerous area. Tumasi. Dambuya got a touch to it, and a deep throw in here for Austin Bold. Corey Whelan stepping through. He's been a late addition to the roster for Phoenix, but has really battled his way into a center back position that really has been loaded for Phoenix Rising the entire season. Luigi Mala, Joey Farrell, AJ Cochran, and Whelan stepped in and just totally overtook that right center back spot as Dambuya is fouled right in front of Marcelo Serrano. There is Sonny Guadarrama, who had the game winner against Phoenix back on that Wednesday Night Soccer edition in April.
This is going to be something you're going to see quite regularly tonight. The physical play of Austin Bold. They're not going to allow Rising to have a lot of time to play out. They'll provide a bit of intermittent press. Again, the average age being higher, they're not necessarily going to be able to push the tempo as fast as they would like to, but it's calculated. Make no mistake about it. Marcelo Serrano's squad knows exactly when to go and when to stay. This is a good representation. Just a moment ago, everybody pressing high. Now they sit back a little bit. They almost bait you into pushing forward to allow guys in the middle like Amobi Akugo and Edson Brafite to push forward, regain possession, then they go the other way.
Restrepo forced to get rid of it. Adam John was putting in his normal legwork to put pressure on the opposition's keeper, but Carroll brings it down. Almost had it poked away, now finding Asante. Tries to get it back for Baquero. Nice little nutmeg of Tumasi, back for Asante. Heavy touch towards the byline, and the Ghanaian runs out of room. He was asking for, I believe, a foul from the assistant referee. He's not going to get any sympathy. And a goal kick coming up. The best play on a new Ford is at Sanderson Ford. Shop Arizona's largest selection of new Fords with no hassle, no pressure, and no nonsense. Sanderson Ford is America's most awarded Ford dealership for customer service. Shop Sanderson Ford. Towering header from the Liverpool U23 man, Corey Whelan. Kugo switches the point of attack, finding the in the middle, Baez. Pressure from Junior Flemings. It'll stay with Austin. Really just seemed to kill off the game, get their goals, and just cruise to a 2-0 win against the Los Dos side that is usually good for at least a goal or two. But they were played off the field that night, and Rick Schatz had nothing but the utmost respect of what Marcelo Serrano's been able to do with this group, not only from a tactical standpoint, but of course from an emotional standpoint as well, Devin. We mentioned, of course, the loss that this Austin team suffered in their beloved teammate, Promise Isaac, who passed away suddenly of a heart attack on October 2nd, the Nigerian who, by all accounts, Devin, you and I never really had the opportunity to meet him, but reading everything after the fact and seeing all of the praises, it just seems like he was an A+ human being and, of course, a phenomenal soccer player, and our thoughts and prayers continue to go out to the entire Austin Bold family. And this group has certainly responded in a big way. They had a moment of silence as they stopped play in the 11th minute in their game against Los Dos, following immediately the Imu Tumasi goal. And it's just been an emotional roller coaster for this group, but they found themselves in the postseason. They're playing some good football.
It's a massive amount of respect for the manager, and what really got me was reaching out to him in that situation, just kind of giving my condolences, some words of support, And his response to me was, I have to be strong for my team. I have to find a way to lift these boys up. And that was right in a run where you weren't exactly sure where this is headed. Now that happened back on October 2nd. What happens? 3-1-2 over their final 6 games.
Here's Asante. Early delivery. Handled by Taylor. Tumasi trying to bring it down. Highly sought after MLS draft pick in 2018 by FC Dallas, now on loan with Austin. He's done well. And of course, had the game-winning goal in the first goal against Los Dos midweek in the play-in game. The foul called against Dumbuya. Bit of a cagey start here, a lot of nerves, even on the side of Phoenix, who's been there and done that. Having won 20 straight games this season, longest streak in American soccer history. Devin, as you said, it's just a completely different environment. Unless you've been in it, you can't really put it into words. And despite all the success that they've had, Phoenix knows that this is exactly where they're supposed to be. And everything this year has been leading up to this moment, as that's a late challenge in the middle of the field. Elvis Osmanovic doesn't want to hear any of it, as Sonny Guadarrama is making his case. And Josue Soto, looks like it'll just be a stern talking to. Cards will stay in the pocket for the moment.
There was a second one on the backside from Omobi Okugo as well on Kevin Lambert. Here's the quick little ball in, comes up over the backside, it's a foul, and then how about the follow through as well? Just stands him up. It's a love tap, but again, we're all friends here.
Wheelan lofts it in, Adam John rising for the header. Here comes Junior Flemings. Curls it in, and easily handled by Diego Restrepo. And that's where they want to see the evolution of the Jamaican Junior Flemings, not always cutting inside on his right foot, but getting to the byline, serving delivery. As Sion McFarland is down and writhing around in pain, grabbing on to that lower left leg. And we already mentioned earlier that he is so important to this group, not only from a defensive standpoint and all the pace and athleticism that he possesses in 1v1 situations, but going forward, he gets them started as well. And the game completely changed back in July. It was a 1-0 game. Solomon Asante had the goal in the 17th minute, Devin. And McFarland and Junior Flemings were going after it. And as soon as McFarland came out and Woodbury came on, it was open season, and Phoenix scored 5 goals and cruised to a 6-0 win.
People forget that was a 1-0 game until the 54th minute when James Musa broke through and got the second goal of the night. They would get 3 in the span of 12 minutes and really open things up, and then the red card happened, and emotionally it took a massive turn. But you're spot on. It all started in that 38th minute substitution. Sion McFarland, who ran rampant on that right-hand side. That was one of the more fun battles I've seen all season long, especially in a one-on-one situation. But what did they not have? They didn't necessarily have that balance. That's something Rick Shantz has taken notice to, as well as Marcelo Serrano. Where could they find a way to then push something over onto the left-hand side? It's not necessarily coming out of the likes of Josue Soto, another versatile piece that's been deployed primarily on the back line and left back position, but they can also move into the middle. More so on the loanee Imatumasi, someone that John Baccaro is going to be very familiar with. Both of them proteges of Bobby Muse and Wake Forest.
Baez being hounded by Jose Aguinaga, trying to just dink it through, but the Spaniard was sharp to it. Flemings with a nifty little move, skirts away from trouble, and wants to launch the counterattack the other way for the Ghanaian Solomon Asante. League leader in goals and assists during the regular season in 2019. And if he's not MVP, I don't know exactly who is. But his form as of late has been questionable, to say the least, and Rick Shantz just continues to preach being humble and hungry for Asante, whose numbers have certainly dropped over the past few weeks or so. But a clean slate here in the postseason, as Junior Flemings gets stuck into a challenge along with Sonny Guadarrama. And the referee's going to stop play, not due to a foul, but just checking on both players. Junior Flemings grabbing onto his midsection. Meanwhile, Sonny Guadarrama having a rough go of it in the first 13 minutes or so. Flemings, who's coming off of his first international goal with Jamaica in CONCACAF Nations League. As the Reggae Boys are trying to grind themselves out of a League B that they probably shouldn't even be in to begin with, but due to some poor CONCACAF Nations League qualifying play, that's where they find themselves. But Junior Flemings has been a massive piece of the Jamaican side. They got to the semifinals of the Gold Cup this past summer. Difficult ball to handle for Corey Wheeling, gets ahead to it, but straight to Baez. Lambert settling things down. Good ball in for Asante, who gets clobbered from behind by Soto. And that's his second warning of the first half in a matter of about 5 minutes or so. He's going to go into the book early as he's shown mustard, in the first mustard in the postseason here at Casino Arizona Field.
I don't mind the shout here from Edson Brathwaite, though. He's come over immediately and told him to back off, calm his nerves down. And this is what happens. You overexert yourself too early. Referee is going to have you right on that frontal lobe, exactly how it plays down. You can get away with pressure on the backside of Solomon Asante right here, but you can't run through. And this is a guy that if you just nudge, he's going to understand where the pressure is coming from, and he's going to go to ground. You can't blame him. Losway Soto just doesn't do himself any favors.
So the left back from California goes into the book. Spent some time in Mexico with Querétaro, as well as the second division south of the border. Bandidos and Red Fury, of course, providing the magical acoustics here. Flemings on the turn as Amadou Dia with him. Foul from behind by Baez. And this is what Rick Schantz told us, Devin, that Austin Bowl will commit fouls if they're in transition and they feel themselves exposed a little bit just to get back behind the ball.
It's a smart tactic, to be honest, and a lot of teams around the world are guilty of it. They'll tell you no, we want no part of it, but it's smart here. When you are already exposing yourself in general because of speed, and then it's a quick little pass in behind, that window opens up. It's quite simple to just step on someone, quick little touch, and then you go the other way. The problem you get yourself into is teams that are so good from set-piece situations. Teams like Phoenix Rising, Louisville City, guys that are well-versed to putting the ball in the back of the net for dead ball situations. There are so many directions they can hurt you in. This is the aerial route. Look at AJ Cochran on the back post.
Vaquero curls one in, good ball, here's John, it's off the crossbar. Asante couldn't connect on the follow-up. Aguinagos was a bit awkward. Adam John, who had a couple terrific finishes against OKC Energy FC, seemingly picking up right where he left off in the regular season finale. Lambert just lashes one in, and that just grazes the outside of the net. Don't mind the celebrations here. Wrong side of the post. But Phoenix with their first real chance of the night. Adam John striking woodwork.
We think about the evolution, and I love that word that you brought up, because this man right here, he wasn't on the field in that 1-0 loss. The start of that night, Ben Spencer. Adam John was dealing with back spasms back then, and they did not have the ability to stretch the game. Dead ball situation or not, he's always a vital piece. Second chance opportunity makes its way back around, just shy of the near post.
John continues to be one of the hardest working men on the defensive side of the ball, who's more known for scoring goals. Of course, the incredible feat of Adam John and his representation working in a clean sheet clause into his contract.
Gotta have him as my agent. Let Adam John pull that stuff up.
And we talked to Adam about it. We shook his hand. We said, listen, we gotta congratulate you, because that's one of the smartest things we've ever seen. And he put all the praise on his agent. But I mean, it just goes to show, Stanford grad, he's incredibly smart, and he knows what it takes to win football games. As this is good recovery here from Tumasi. That's a great matchup of pace and athleticism between Tumasi and Mustafa Dambuya. Cleared away. Matarama trying to get ahead to it, and Whelan will see it out. And for Mustafa Dambuya, who's certainly towards the end of his career, he actually hit a new season high of max speed against the Real Monarchs a couple weeks ago. And there were a couple of members of Phoenix who were putting in some of the best physical shifts of the season in the latter stages of the year, which is certainly an interesting feat given all of the miles that are on the odometer at this point. As Brafai brings it down. Tracked closely by Baquero. Now on wide for Tomasi. Jose Aguinaga was giving some instructions to Junior Flemings in a not so nice fashion. Lubin coming off of his line. And the Bozeman, Montana native calls everybody off.
It's not a foul there on Dumbuya. Just keep an eye on the run that started to ensue for Brafai. This team is very disciplined, Austin Bold, and you can see it right there. Look at number 45, that's Ima Tomasi tucking himself in, where his holding midfielder started to make the run up top. He didn't follow suit. He understood that that was going to be an isolated situation, just sat back and allowed himself to take shape in the middle of the field. They do not want to lose that proper disposition. That is why they have the ability to be successful. The question is, over 90 minutes in its entirety, can they continue to replicate that look?
Phoenix Rising is pleased to have players of SC Del Sol as tonight's First Watch Ball Kids. Be sure to visit www.firstwatch.com to find your neighborhood First Watch, the daytime cafe. Takes a deflection on the way in, and Restrepo doesn't have any pressure, so he can gather it and distribute the other way, but that distribution aimed towards his manager as opposed to somebody on the field.
I don't mind that look whatsoever, though. That's how they scored one of their goals against Los Dos. That quick countering option. Diego Restrepo can go in distribution with some of the best of them, and he picks his head up and he looks. He's got to spray it to the outside, and then you allow your playmakers, the likes of Sian McFarland, to get up. That time he's going for Ima Tomasi. But that quick look, when Phoenix Rising has pushed so many numbers forward and got that high line to get in behind early, and then you push the pace, not a bad idea for Austin Bold.
Adam John felt like he was taken down from behind, as did the fans. Meanwhile, Austin Bold breaking out on the other end, looking menacing for the first time tonight. Lima sends it in. Baez couldn't quite corral it, and Lambert will pick up the pieces. He gives it away, though. Uncharacteristic of the Jamaican. Brafai from distance, and that's straight into the Red Fury. 20 minutes in, we've still yet to see Austin have clear possession and really break out the other way and expose themselves, because they did give up chances to Los Dos, and they didn't look as clinical as they did throughout the regular season. And that's what Rick Schantz was so adamant about when we asked him what the biggest key was going to be. You had a different question for him regarding fear and the negativity aspect, which we'll get to that in a second. But Junior Flemings takes it here, and he was looking for Adam John, who actually got tangled up with Jermaine Taylor. It was a bizarre play as Adam John comes up a little bit lame, favoring that right leg, but Rick Schantz said offensive transition, and for a team that's so good on the counter, it was interesting to see him saying that that was one of the main things that they worked on during training.
Just get a quick little look into the mind of Phoenix Rising manager Rick Schantz. Always so polite in opening up his thoughts within he and the coaching staff, and that quick little look gives you a brief idea of what this team's trying to do. Now they'll go a bit deeper and isolate some situations as Lambert tries to pull the trigger from distance. He and Brafai are obviously close friends off the field. And when you go that way, you take a look at the roster right now. So if you just look at the 11 for Austin Bold, it's easy to go, okay, Sian McFarland, he's one of the most dangerous pieces for that team. So can you shy away from it? Okay, so then you go to the other side. Ima Tomasi. He's not directly on the roster, he's a loanee, but they're going to take him any way they can get him. So now there's that balance we talk about. So can you play in behind one and play around the other? Well, fortunately enough, you've got some really talented boys in the middle of the field that can stretch that thin and then look for the spots down the middle. The problem is right now is everything's on the exterior. It's not necessarily the worst thing to have, but when you don't have distribution going into the middle of the box, to Adam John up top, or you got a trailing run of Junior Flemings on the backside, you got to look to go a different route. And that's where they're searching right now. 22 minutes in, see Adam John coming back over. When he starts to drift out here, is the look you're really going for a quick ball into the middle to Solomon Asante? Because he's usually going to get stood up by those two big center backs in Jermaine Taylor and Gustavo Ricci, another loanee coming over. So that's part of that. And again, I love that word you used before, the evolution. Where is the metamorphosis going to take place for Phoenix Rising? Austin Bold, they don't care right now if this match continues this way, because it's hope. It's the belief that as long as this thing goes on, they're still in this match. That's what you saw in both two matchups previously, one of which they obviously came up on top.
Flashing some scores at the top right hand of your screen. We'll get to that in a moment as Javi Baez picks his head up. Picks out a runner at the edge of the area. It's Guadarrama turning towards the byline now, standing one up. Mustafa Nabuya played it really well with Tumasi right on his back. And Kevin Lambert clears it away. Only as far as Gustavo Ricci. And all those scores that you saw up until the last one with El Paso and Fresno were finals, and El Paso taking a 1-0 lead. All sorts of lineup changes for Adam Smith and the Foxes. Midway through the first 45 minutes here in the Valley of the Sun, Tyler Terrans along with Devin Kerr. Western Conference quarterfinal action between the number 1 and number 8 seed in Phoenix and Austin, as Tumasi taken down from behind by Kevin Lambert. And you're starting to see this Marcelo Serrano group have that hope that Devin was talking about come to the surface, and they're starting to play with a bit more confidence. Midway through the first half, still 0-0 with the most successful regular season side in the league's history.
The other thing you got to think about is when you get into this chippy play, a lot of starts and stops, there's no real rhythm, and that's much more difficult for Phoenix than it is for Austin. Austin is a team that can grind games out. Phoenix Rising, free-flowing, they want to play some beautiful style of football. That's not always the case for Austin. That's not negative towards them. It's just how the season has taken shape. Marcelo Serrano, very understanding of what he has in terms of resources, and we'll give you a better idea about that later, but right now, you have to pick and choose your moments. This is one of them. Edson Brathwaite, beautiful left foot. The question is, we saw him strike one before, is that confidence lacking? The way that he's situated lining up for this right now, look for a back post run, something dropping right on the penalty mark.
It is Brathwaite, it is delivery. Angled away from goal, it fall nicely here for Lima, goes for the bicycle kick attempt, but never had nearly enough pace on it. Zach Lubin will collect for a goal kick.
An opportunity such as that, you have to wonder, what's the thought? You're pushing it even further away, and I get it. You want to try and let one of the big guys go up and knock it back across, but that's much more suited when you're down towards the exterior of the goal. When you have a less angle to have a direct shooting opportunity, the goalkeeper knows you're going to put it into the box. The question is are you going to go low? Are you going to bring it near post, far post? So it is a guessing game. Right there, you can go after him where you put it in a gray area, right around that penalty mark, in between the 6, where you can challenge Zach Lubin and say, okay, you want to come off your line? Come get it. You're going to have to go against one of my big boys coming after it as well. Instead, they go way too far to the backside, and it's a wasted opportunity.
That was pretty steady throughout the course of the season. They never won anything more than back-to-back games. They never lost anything more than back-to-back games. 13 wins on the season. Right in the middle of the road for a number of statistics. Offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball. They're just very steady, especially considering how many times that Marcelo Serrano will make tactical personnel adjustments, whether it be in-game throughout the course of the week. A very experienced side, average age 27.8. Still nowhere near Devin Kerr, but that's neither here nor there. This one lofted in, Andre Lima gets ahead to it, and trickles into the hands of Zach Lubin.
There are some days that I wake up and just am so excited to go to work, and then realize that things like that are going to drop on my doorstep. So always appreciative of you letting the world know what rocking chair I'm heading towards.
Osmanovic is looking for one of those round things that you need to play this game. There it is. Ball goes into Guadarrama. He's great at finding those little pockets in between the lines of defense as Amadou Dia has some pressure, and it should be off of Austin, and it is. Surprised by the first half hour or so?
No, not at all. Not based upon the previous 2 matches, the way that's gone. Again, outside of Salman Asante's goal in the last match out. It's very similar. A bit more wide open. The emotion was higher, but still the choppy play. 30 minutes in, you would expect the home squad to start to really settle down here, and that just hasn't taken shape. You got to give credit to Austin Bold because they're staying right on top of their players. A lot of physical play that's pushing them off their game.
Reese trying to push Adam John off the ball. John did well to hold it up. Lambert just surveying his options, probing. Allow John Baquero to come into the act. This is the way Phoenix like to play. 11 players inside of midfield, 10 if you're excluding Zach Lubin. Amadou Dia trying to turn the corner on Baez. Dia stood up. Terrific play for the former Chivas man. Here comes Phoenix again in the form of Corey Whelan. Delivered Pudlian, nice little stutter step. Dumbuya now will deliver off the backside of Tomasi. Austin will try to move up and out. Flemings. Disciplined defense from Marcelo Serrano's group. Phoenix wear them down. Aguinaga. Whelan. Sante couldn't quite get around Jose Suoto. Tomasi. Ton of pace behind this kid. Lambert. Those long legs being put to good use. It's just different when you're being defended by Lambert, because those moments when you feel like you've put yourself in between the opposition and the ball, it's not the case with Lambert because he's got an extension cord on those legs.
Even when you beat him, he's still got that last gasp effort, and we've seen it so many times before. That's a really good look, though, at that Austin Bold backline where they just had 7 white shirts basically sitting in about a 20-yard radius where they were just draped right across each other, and then they dropped 2 on the inside, pinched each other out a little bit. The problem is when they're trying to counterattack, it's very isolated. One-on-ones where they're tracking the other way. That was just Ima Tomasi, Lambert, Dumbuya, and then he had the trailing run of Corey Whelan. So it's 1v3. That's a difficult run. That is not going to be a good look for Austin Bold going forward. They got to find a way to get support if they want to have success.
Aguinaga take it down and a free kick for Phoenix. Bullish work from both Flemings and the Rider University product. Jose Aguinaga, who's been probably one of the more underrated players that Phoenix signed during the offseason. And McFarland played it with his hands, and they're saying that the ball was still moving, and indeed that is the case. I'll have to go back and take it. Phoenix fans were hoping they were going to get like an easy red card. That was the unraveling of the last time that these two teams met in July, was the Edson Brafide sending off. Lambert finds Baquero. Aguinaga asking for it. Baquero trying to curl it in behind the defense. Unable to do so, but a corner kick coming up. That's brought to you by our friends over at Carvana.
Jose Aguinaga was licking his chops in the middle of the field, asking for this ball early. John Baquero just tops it a little bit. And this will allow AJ Cochran, Corey Whelan, both of those boys will push up. Target man is always Adam John, big number 9. As we mentioned before, not around in that 1-0 loss earlier this year.
Baquero lofts it in, Restrepo off his line, not a clear punch. Here's Flemings, and it's knocked off the line by Reese. Was the corner prevented? No, it was not. Phoenix will have another try. Asante quickly back in. Restrepo stays home. Reese another challenge. And it'll come out the other way, but Junior Flemings, sweet, sweet connection on this volley. But Gustavo Reese, the Brazilian, with heroic defending.
All hands on deck for Austin Bold. Well done in the middle of the field. And then on the second chance effort, when they go quick from the corner, really like that idea. Diego Restrepo's got to be very careful. When you come off your line as a goalkeeper, you come with power and you come to win it. I like the idea of getting a hand on it, but you put it right down the middle, and guys like Junior Flemings and Aguinaga aren't always going to throw themselves into the mix. Now, they have aerial capability as well, but if you watch from set-piece opportunities, there's always one or two laying and waiting for a second chance such as that.
Flemings puts it in towards the channel, but a bit too hasty in doing so. Gustavo Risi was a late addition to this group. He was signed on signed in August, but didn't make his first appearance until September 8th. But they inserted him extremely quickly, and the 21-year-old from Araras, Brazil, on loan from Cruzeiro, came up through the Fluminense as well as the Cruzeiro Academy, has made himself right at home under Marcelo Serrano as Mustafa Dambuya welcomes Zima Tomasi to his CRL Zero field. A little bit of a love tap there.
Really good defending by Dambuya, and here comes a little bit of pressure by Austin Bold, but whether it's Gustavo Risi, they picked up George Acosta as well. For Marcelo Serrano, we alluded to this before, he understands that he doesn't necessarily have the same luxuries, we'll say, that Phoenix Rising does. Things are different. The tools of the trade are still deployed in similar fashion, but how do you go out and take advantage of the resources around you? Phoenix tend to dig a bit deeper in terms of compensation. You can make that argument or not. For Austin Bold, they've got a lot of loaning players and two nice acquisitions, and Risi on the back line and George Acosta. Acosta, of course, spending some time with the North Carolina program. That is a nasty challenge on the far side. This has got to go into the book.
So now you have both outside backs that are on a card. Sion McFarland and Jose Suoto are now sitting on yellows, and that makes it a bit more interesting in terms of how physical Sion McFarland could be for the remaining 65 minutes or so.
He's arguing he took a shot across the midsection as well, just pulling up his jersey. What he's trying to do here is the initial foot on his left is trying to get a touch on the ball, and then the follow through. Trust me, I've tried to get away with it before and ended up in the same situation as Sion McFarland. If you don't get it right, it goes terribly wrong. And for the Jamaican, he has now given another dangerous opportunity to Phoenix Rising. John Baquero over the ball. How about Junior Flemings? And just keep an eye right at the top of the 18. There's a good little look. Imi Tomasi right now having to account for both Aguinaga and Amadou Dia if they decided to play something short. And if they do come short here, that's two quick options that they can go after. But you've still got the big boys in the middle. Hard to press to not put this up and let them go get it.
And off for Flemings, going for the curler, and it sneaks all the way through, but just wide of the far post. Nifty little set piece.
And this is the short option. We wondered if it would happen. And here's what you can play it out. When you play this ball, you have three different looks. You can have the go to goal. You've got Amadou Dia sitting, where you can lay it to him, he knocks it in or has a strike. And you've also got Aguinaga. So regardless, you're already winning no matter what. They're fighting an uphill battle in terms of Austin Bold. I like it. It's not necessarily you see something from Phoenix Rising go after.
Thanks to our friends at Jackson's Car Wash. You get a free car wash with every Phoenix Rising ticket. Visit phxrisingfc.com/Jacksons for more information. Lambert takes a shot from Lima. That was after the nudge from Sonny Guadarrama, which put him in a difficult spot. There's no malintent there from Lima, just sort of wrong place, wrong time. Slow to get to his feet. Still 0-0 between Phoenix and Austin. Number 1 and number 8 seed in the Western Conference. Winner will take on Jameson Olave, Kyle Coffey, Mulholland, Douglas Martinez, Jack Blake and company in the Western Conference semifinals. And what a storyline that would be if Phoenix get another crack at the Monarchs, who snapped their 17-match unbeaten streak at home just a couple weeks ago. And if it's Austin who prevail, then the Monarchs will get another home game at Zions Bank Stadium in Harriman, Utah. Baquero. Lambert. Boy, would Phoenix love a goal right before halftime. Dambuya. Sees a little opening, still with it. Slides it across, but nothing doing. Baez is there. Good header from A.J. Cochran. Dia with a clean first touch allows John Baccaro to get on the ball in a dangerous spot. Aguinaga on his best first touch, and Austin Bolt trying to come out the other way with a bit of pace as Devin Kerr is motioning for, but Tumasi elects to slow it up.
Just notice right there, they don't have a lot of bodies, but this ball could have been hit first time. You take a touch, look up, Tumasi goes the other way. That's some inexperience from the youngster coming out of Wake Forest, where you have to learn to turn up the game a little bit, even when it's not on your side of the field. So when he sees, okay, I don't have the support over here, you can still go the other direction. Yeah, it's a 40-yard ball, but with Rising trying to track back, that is where this team has got to find out, okay, we have to show a different look, because too many times in this first half, they've stepped on it and allowed the home squad to track back.
Aguinaga wins it back cleanly, says the head referee. Aguinaga, big switch over. Restrepo comes off of his line and brings it down like he's playing in the middle of the park. And Edson Brafide is down behind the play. And Elvis Osmanovic will allow the medical staff to come on as Brafide is claiming that he got whacked in the face by Jose Aguinaga, who did, it appear, at least to flail his arms a little bit. Whether or not he caught Brafide was difficult to tell.
Just at the tail end of it, there's a nudge, and it's difficult because of the angle. It's just two guys reaching out. And I feel for him a little bit, but at the same point in time, these are some of the knocks that you're dishing out as well. It's always the little ones, though. You know, when someone just catches a little bit of a deflection, and there's a much better look, and it doesn't look like it's overly powerful. It's kind of like the non-contact injuries as well. The ones that don't necessarily look the worst end up being quite painful, to be honest. It's the case here for Edson Brafide.
So clean on the ball. Finding Junior Flemings, the Jamaican. Wants to pick out an option in some space, finding Aguinaga. Asante, back for Aguinaga. Now Phoenix are cooking here. Fortunate deflection, Dumbuya's on it. All sorts of time and space to deliver, but on his best delivery. Brafide back out onto the field. Baccaro. Lima just gets it away before Lambert can get a touch. And now put into the channel for Tumasi. 1v1 with Corey Whelan here. Now Dumbuya will slide over for cover. And for Ghana native working on the Liverpudlian. Back for Lima. Sneaks through. Hugo lays it off. Baez. McFarland now sends it in, but AJ Cochran's there. Fleming's trying to get back to win the ball. Baez. McFarland, nice little feint.
Not a bad little sequence for the visitors, is it? It's kind of the stuff that we talked about, though. Hima Tumasi just extending this play all on his own and recognizes that, okay, I can go the other way now. Well done by the transitional play by Austin Bold. Everybody to move back up inside. That's what you got to do. If you do turn this back over when you hold it for that long, you have to make sure that the defense has taken shape in its own half as well. You give this team, Phoenix Rising, a lot of room to play with. They will make you pay. And credit to Austin Bold right now. They haven't necessarily given them a lot of looks in that fashion where it's isolated. It's those one-on-ones down in the corner. You turn it over. They're already behind the ball. But also be wary of playing in behind, because as you move that line higher, you get the speedsters like Junior Flemings and Solomon Asante a bit more room to play in behind.
Coming up at halftime, we're kicking it with your Phoenix CW. Meet a Phoenix Rising superfan who's so dedicated, she's getting it written in permanent ink. That's coming up next at halftime. 3 guesses who?
It's not me.
A girl can dream.
You have tattoos?
No. Asante. Good delivery, back post. Fleming somehow got a foot to it, but it was always difficult to try to even get to it, let alone steer it on frame.
Just some half chances for Phoenix Rising here as we close out the first half. Nice little play. Notice how Solomon Asante has to track back across it, though. He had already made his run inside, expecting this ball was going to be out in front of him. Unfortunately, Aguinaga couldn't get enough English on the ball to have it curl back over. Still got a minute and a half to go here, but if you're Austin Bold, you're going to feel pretty good about the way this first half has played out, especially because they're starting to dance on the ball a little bit. Nothing crazy, just enough to be thorn in the side for Rising. If I'm Rick Shantz, he's going to try and figure out, okay, we didn't necessarily attack the areas that we want to. So how do we get it to our playmakers come the second 45 minutes? Some of it's going to start with distribution out of the back right here, where when they get the guys like AJ Cochran and Corey Whelan on the ball, they need to make better decisions to put the guys going forward in spots to succeed. They've made some really difficult challenges coming out of the back, where even when they play the ball, it's one quick little touch, and it usually is coming in a negative fashion, so they don't have the ability to stretch the game as rapidly as they normally do.
Well, anytime you talk to anybody in the league, whether it be at Phoenix Rising or any team who comes to Casino Arizona Field, or even coaches and players in the Eastern Conference, they know that if Phoenix get an early goal, then it's usually going to be a mighty uphill battle. And Austin has done that so far, and check that off their list in terms of trying to take down this juggernaut of a side that only lost 4 times during the regular season. As this one has slipped through. Tomasi onside, 1v1 with Lubin, and Lubin stands him up. Massive play for the Montana man. Fleming's now going for goal, takes a deflection. And Restrepo able to gather.
Exactly one of the chances that we're talking about. Is he offside? Is he on? You get a quick little touch here. Lovely play coming out of the middle. And that is the playmaker that we were talking about. Okugo and Brafite. Could they be difference makers coming out of the middle? They finally set Tomasi free. And what you have to do with this goalkeeper here, he already started to leave his feet. As an outside attacker, when you're used to playing on the left, stick to what you know best. Pull this across your body, accelerate into space, and then put it in the back of the net. Bold should be out in front by 1.
Dambuya into the middle. Header is won by Austin. That looked like it traveled out of play. It was so lackadaisical on the far side. And now it allows Phoenix to be able to take a corner. And there's no hero in town, and she's Gotham City's only hope. Batwoman premieres on your Phoenix CW Sundays this fall. Carroll on top of the corner that Phoenix probably did not earn. Sent in. Small deflection. Bicycle kick attempt from Flemings. Wheeling. Asante back in. Couldn't get it past the first defender. Now Austin could go on the other end. Lima. Didn't really allow Tomasi to get forward in proper fashion. Fleming's a diagonal ball for John. Give away in the middle of the field. Asante thought about going back for Lambert. Baquero taken away by Baez. Good cover. Coming over from the right-hand side. And if you're Austin Bold, you have to feel mighty confident with the performance that you put in the first half. Meanwhile, if you're Phoenix Rising, still 45 minutes to just find a goal. And move on like The entire league expects them to. Anything short of the championship at this point would be considered a failure, especially given the fact that they were there and one goal away from at least forcing extra time a year ago. And that's going to do it for the first half. 0-0 here at Casino Arizona Field. Zach Lubin with probably the biggest play tonight so far, denying Tomasi in a 1v1 situation. Austin Bold, other than that, not able to muster up too much. Adam John hit the woodwork about midway through the first half. Devin Kerr, your thoughts?
This team is starting to build into this match, though. Austin Bold had a couple good chances towards the tail end of the first half. You saw Tomasi on the left. Got to find a way to get Andre Lima going up top. All that matters right now for Rick Schantz. They don't care about the points. They don't care about the wins. All they care about is the next 45 minutes. Watch the changes these managers make. It's going to be a gritty second half.
Hi, I'm Haley Francis, and you are kicking it with your Phoenix CW. The Phoenix Rising wouldn't have made it to the postseason without the hard work of the players and the support of the fans. So tonight we're taking a look at the biggest fans we met this season.
Tomatoes are huge over here.
Maintaining a garden takes a certain level of care.
There's strawberries in here.
Add 2 pups and grandkids to the mix.
Turn around so we can see who he is. Oh, there he is.
Monica is just your typical grandma.
Go Rising! Come on, boys! Don't you touch him! Get up, you big girl!
That gentle gardening grandma is Phoenix Rising's super fan.
At Phoenix Rising games, Monica is passionate.
I am unchained. I am kind of crazy.
And if you don't know her by name, you'll definitely know her voice.
You can't do that! Don't you touch him!
She brings that intensity to every single match.
My travel folder for this season, we're driving to New Mexico, and then I already have my flight to Portland.
Monica travels to every away game. In fact, she's only ever missed one Phoenix Rising game.
I missed one last season because I had surgery on the same day. So I was watching it from my hospital room.
We'll let that one slide. What you don't see is her care for the team off the field. Monica treats the players as family, often cooking and caring for international players who leave their own families behind to pursue their own dreams on the pitch.
I think it's really hard for them to come. Everything's different. Oh, I'll bake for them. I'll cook normal food for them and just drop it off. Sometimes it'll be a door hang of chocolate chip cookies.
The team mom is affectionately called Mon, short for Monica. Her love for her garden and grandkids is mirrored in her love for the players.
Win or lose, they'll always be my team. You know, they're not just players for me, they're people.
For Kicking It, I'm Adam Waltz.
Thanks, Adam. And to say the team has left a mark on Monica would be an understatement. We were there as she got inked up with her very first Phoenix Rising tattoo. It's a Reaper donning a Phoenix Rising scarf surrounded by red smoke, a Monica trademark.
She wanted something definitely tough, something that would, represent her, represent the team.
This was her first Phoenix Rising tattoo, but we have a feeling it won't be her last. When we come back, more fan stories, plus highlights from around the USL. More Kicking It right after this.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a few years old or dinosaur old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
Mobile Mini is a lockdown defender. Have peace of mind using Mobile Mini, guarding all of your valuables on site, at home, or at your business. Mobile mini storage containers are made of 100% steel and maximize your protection with our patented Tri-Cam locking system that is camera-proof, cut-proof, and drill-proof. Proud partner of Phoenix Rising FC.
At Arizona Federal, our passion is to help out the community where you live and work, because where you bank should make you feel good. Show your support for the home team with the Phoenix Rising Visa debit card. When you open a new account, you can score $100 just for using your card when you shop. How's that for an easy goal? Be a part of our commitment to the community. Arizona Federal Credit Union.
North Texas Soccer Club, Greenville Triumph. Who will be the one? Going for goal, a great save from Zobek. Almaguer going for goal, pushed aside by Jay. Deflecting around, the shot coming, and it's in! The opening goal for North Texas. And there's the final whistle. North Texas Soccer Club, #1 in League One.
Dangerous now. Another shot for a handball. That one served in. Clever will take a shot. He fires it home. In the ball. Oh, it's an excellent finish. Right and in. Inside the box over there. Kluma. Shot. Tries to find Mancelli, who takes it out of the air and forces a brilliant save.
That's a great goal.
Post. Mordida puts it in.
He's going to take a shot, and Tambach is diving to parry it away.
Back in, finds the head of his man, and Reno has leveled.
Still Saxony. It's a drive, and what a save by Matt Pickens.
Bodies in front of him, Penny pick it out. It's a soft day, and it's off the post and in. Loose and punch, it's Freiders. New Mexico equalizes and a dive offense.
Cutting back, Williams wins it. Seconds remaining, and that will do it.
Chip it up over the top. This ball's for Eddie Bolton. Eddie Bolton with a thunderous strike. Are you kidding? Sion McFarland. Insurance has arrived for the win. Van Schaik steps up and he scores.
Awesome stuff from the playing round, of course, from Monica McPherson, superfan for Phoenix Rising Football Club. But we still got some business to sort out here at Casino Arizona Field. Second half kickoff still a few minutes away or so. We'll take a look at some news and notes from around the USL Championship. Zico Lewis was the player of the week, recorded a goal and 2 assists, and puts Charleston to a 9th straight postseason trip as that streak remains intact for Mike Anhauser as the only side of the modern era of the USL to qualify for each year of the postseason. And how about the 2019 USL Championship final? Devin Kerr, you're going to be right there for it alongside Mike Watts. That game is going to be on Sunday, November 17th, 7:30 Eastern Time on ESPN The Ocho. No, I'm just kidding. It's on ESPN 2. And we'll take a look at the bracket as it stands, Devin, with both the East and the West. And, of course, the Monarchs moving on. The winner of this game will get the Monarchs. Sacramento taking down Reno. El Paso, last time we checked, we're up 1-0 on Fresno. The Eastern Conference was mighty interesting. I'll tell you one game that wasn't interesting was Pittsburgh and Birmingham.
7-0 wasn't interesting to you?
No.
They don't score 7 goals in 10 games sometimes, let alone in one match.
They didn't score 7 goals last year.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, really well done by Bob Lilly's squad. What a statement, by the way. You're not necessarily sure if we can get it done in the playoffs. Watch us work. really impressive by the #1 seed. And of course, that beautiful run by Zico Lewis and Charleston Battery down the stretch would fall just short as Nashville SC would take down the Charleston Battery 3-1.
Well, all sorts of interesting results unfolding east and west of the Mississippi, but right here in the desert, we got a bit of a goal drought. We're hoping for some more in the second half. 0-0 between Phoenix and Austin. Don't go anywhere. Western Conference quarterfinal action right around the corner.
You're watching Kicking It. I'm Haley Francis. Here at Your Phoenix CW, we are fans of the fans. So this season, we sent a couple of them on a trip to LA to see Phoenix Rising play in Hollywood. Check it out.
This time we were not coming.
Phoenix Rising fan Saul Hernandez wasn't originally planning on making the road trip to Los Angeles.
Monday morning when I opened my email, I was like, whoa. It's like, what is this? And it's perfect. So I showed to my kids, they're like, well, so now you're going.
Saul won Your Phoenix CW's On the Road with Rising Getaway contest. He won 2 tickets to the game versus LA Galaxy 2, airfare, hotel, and a meet and greet with players.
Thank you.
His kids say it was no surprise when they heard Dad won the big sweepstakes.
No big surprise, he wins a lot of competitions. He's just lucky that way.
I think he usually deserves it when he does.
Saul spent the weekend with his family, even enjoying a daytime brew. But he saved his energy for the game. Because Saul and his sons were representing Los Bandidos and kept the energy high when the team was down.
We're doing okay. We'll come back. We'll come back for the next half.
The Rising came back and won, and thanks to the big contest win, Saul and his kids enjoyed it on the sideline.
Fun, man, a lot of fun. In one word, I would just have to say fun. I'm glad he supports as much as me and my brother do. So it's all fun.
Feel the same. I mean, the same feeling. Feel like we're home. I got my kids, my family here, so great. I feel great.
For Kicking It, I'm Adam Waltz.
Stay right there. The second half is next.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a few years old or dinosaur old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
Mobile Mini is a lockdown defender. Have peace of mind using Mobile Mini, guarding all of your valuables on site, at home, or at your business. Mobile Mini storage containers are made of 100% steel and maximize your protection with our patented Tri-Cam locking system that is camera-proof, cut-proof, and drill-proof. Proud partner of Phoenix Rising FC.
At Arizona Federal, our passion is to help out the community where you live and work, because where you bank should make you feel good. Show your support for the home team with the Phoenix Rising Visa debit card. When you open a new account, you can score $100 just for using your card when you shop. How's that for an easy goal? Be a part of our commitment to the community. Arizona Federal Credit Union.
Second half here at Casino Arizona Field, and the soundtrack in the background's got Devin Kerr doing some kind of dance. Let's take a look at how these two sides tangoed in the first 45 minutes, Devin.
How about Adam John trying to do the horizontal mambo right and around the middle of the box? Well done, takes it off the top of the crossbar. This is an area they needed back in that game earlier on in the season in the 1-0 loss. They went to him, unfortunately couldn't stick it in. That's fine, let's continue to apply the pressure. And I said on these set piece opportunities, you're gonna see one guy laying and waiting. Could be Junior Flemings, could be Aganaga. John Baccaro, if he's not knocking the ball in, he'll sit back as well to provide the second look, and they couldn't stick it away. Laying and waiting, sitting back, defensive shape. What they're doing is compressing. We're gonna go deeper into it, but they're sitting back deep, and they're trying to push numbers going forward. This is a quick little turnover in the middle of the field. Bring this across the left side of your body, stick it in the back of the net, and it's 1-0 on the road advantage of Visitors. Instead, 0-0 halftime.
But that's what we've talked about all season, because with the way that Phoenix played, they're going to give you at least one or two really, really good opportunities. If you want to escape Casino Arizona Field, you have to be able to take them.
And the problem is that they're only going to get Austin Bold one decent look right now. They got one in the first half. You're going to get one more. If you continue to let this go on, and you continue to take this pressure, Phoenix will break you down. The difference is the final 5-6 minutes of that first half, advantage Austin Bold. They did a really good job, and unfortunately, you're not going to get an advantage when you cross over the halfway circle. That infringement. Adam John, you know better. Just because you buried the penalty against Atlanta, what is it, 2 years ago today? 2 years ago today,
yeah,
to knock them out. Doesn't mean you get to cross the halfway line first.
There you go. All right, we're officially underway in the second half between Phoenix and Austin, number 1 and number 8 in the Western Conference quarterfinals. Winner of this match, or potentially whoever advances after a penalty kick shootout, will get the Real Monarchs either at Zions Bank Stadium if it's Austin Bold, or right here at Casino Arizona Field if it is the number 1 overall seed. Anybody from Phoenix that you need to see more from in the second half?
As talented as John Baccaro is, how is he not on the ball more? Just in terms of overall distribution. Now, we know that there's speed on the wings, and we understand that Lambert's been very active, but he has now become the guy who is going to shut this team down defensively and give you a look here and there. That's his role when he plays in the midfield three of Baccaro and Aganaga. But with Baccaro, a couple times I saw him step out, and I liked it, where he was coming back to the top of the 18 to ask for the ball. Quick little ball back over the top. Any time that he steps out of the middle and gets out of the comfort zone from a defending standpoint for Austin Bold, he's going to get followed, but he creates space in behind him. That's where Adam John can drop in. You can play off of the big guy, little flick on, but I've got to get more out of the Spaniard in terms of the overall attacking ability.
Diego Restrepo didn't have too much work to do. The best save of the night on the side of Austin Bold came from his center back, and Gustavo Risi, who cleared off the Junior Flemings volley. Speaking of Flemings, just brushing aside, Sion McFarland draws a lot of attention and ricochets off of Adam John, and the offside flag is up. One word to describe the first half.
Expected.
Give me one more.
Be quiet. It's one word in my dictionary. Thesaurus, whatever. It's just, again, it goes back to, if you look at the matchups, that's got to be a handball. It's a gift. Go with what feels natural. You take a look at the previous two matchups again. That meeting earlier on this season where you didn't necessarily know where Phoenix was headed. Again, this team never worried about what direction this was going to go, but people in the media, everybody else was questioning rotation of players, low knees. That game on April 17th, that was a hard-fought battle. That did have some open play, a lot of open play, to be honest. That's how they scored their goal. Sandy Guadarrama goes in transition the other way, makes a 30-yard run, puts in the upper corner, 1-0, thanks for coming. Even the first half, and we referenced it before, but Sion McFarland, the injury, the red card, the first half was similar. A lot of startage and stoppages, some challenges here and there where they're willing to knock play off, and you kind of alluded to it before, but numbers don't lie, where Austin Bold is top 5 in every statistical category, whether it be fouls committed, yellow cards or red cards, sometimes in the top 2. Much of the same here. The biggest question here is, can Phoenix now give a different look? Where, okay, you're going to sit back and compress and make us break you down that way. That's where they've struggled the most. Fresno did it, Real Monarchs did it. A couple teams have had success in that area. Now it's time for them to learn from their mistakes.
Good ball in, and Restrepo really confident off of his line. Aguinaga circling back around. Now we'll find the feet of Asante. His delivery's blocked. Asante felt like there was a handball. Now look at Tumasi on the other end. This is Ima Tumasi at his best. Wake Forest product. Tries to slide it across, somehow got underneath the foot of Junior Flemings. Now it's Baez, and he'll see it out of play, claiming that Junior Flemings got a touch, and indeed he did. McFarland, he is on a yellow card. Now delivers one in over the head of Dumbuya. Tumasi will track it down. Sonny Guadarrama off of Lambert. Soto first to it. Here's Soto. Looked like it might have taken a deflection, but a goal kick for Zach Lubin. Now enjoy the legendary Sonic Car Hop Classic with juicy quarter pounder double cheeseburger or a 6-inch Philly cheesesteak plus tots for a knockout price of $2.99.
Eat some Sonic tomorrow. There's a Sonic by my house, you know that?
Are you inviting me?
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. I was just talking about my dietary needs. Have you ever been to a Sonic?
I have, of course.
Well, I didn't know if they had them up by you.
What do I look like?
It's a different area of the country. It's the Northeast. You guys got weird laws and things and places.
We just have crazy drivers up in the state that will not be named New Jersey. Here's Dia. John gets taken down behind the play. Elvis Osmanovic will deal with it retroactively. Flemings on the turn. Fleming strong on the ball, trying to stay on his feet. Massive collision, that's going to go the other way. Meeting of the minds between Junior Flemings and Edson Brafide. But now let's see if Elvis Osmanovic goes back and addresses the foul on Adam John that was well away from the play.
I don't mind the fact that he let them play on, but this is a foul on Adam John back in the middle of the field. So why don't you go back and brandish a card? If you're gonna let him play on like that, it's 100% worth taking notice of. And this is wrong on Junior Flemings when he then progresses forward. Now at that point in time, you can't bring it all the way back. You've played advantage and let him go. Junior Flemings doesn't agree, but it just makes you tilt your head a little bit as to the first offense that happened about 20 yards behind him.
It is difficult for a referee, especially if there is more contact and more things to deal with after that play happens, but it is your job. You have to remember that there was something else that happened that you were going to address, and there it is. As it's Jermaine Taylor who's getting the universal signal for no more from the referee.
That is one thing that we have to think about, that he hasn't really overextended himself, Jermaine Taylor. So the fact that it is a foul, I give him that grace period where, okay, you committed the one, and he said no more, especially counter-attacking option. That would have 100% been a card had it been a second or third offense.
If you missed some of today's scores, take a look at the top right-hand side of your screen. Louisville taking down Tampa Bay Rowdies. Thanks to 2 goals from Magnus Rasmussen in a matter of about, what was it, 90 seconds, Devin?
76 seconds.
There you go.
Who's counting?
Pittsburgh eke one out against Birmingham in a really, really close game. In the 11, somehow get by New York Rebels 2, not playing at Lucas Oil against the New York Rebels 2 side that has gotten to the Eastern Conference Final basically every year since it's been in existence. Nashville get a late insurance goal from Derek Jones that was just a ridiculous, just gutsy run. They take down Mike Anhauser in the Charleston Battery. Sacramento Republic got some insurance from Thomasina Voltson. and company, as those two sides were level at 1 after about 10 minutes of play. And the one game that's going on right now, almost parallel with this one, is Fresno and El Paso. El Paso took the lead, and Adam Smith's Foxes clawing their way back into it. And that's all we got for you right now.
Peanut Gallery's got something to say. Good for them. It's the culturally diverse, bilingual fans that you always have to appreciate.
Sonny Guadarrama on the turn. Baez. Back for Sonny G. Best last name on the back of a kit in all of world football. Judges it well. Has to play it though, and wins the throw-in. 10 minutes gone by in this second half, and not much of a difference from what we saw in the first. John. Fleming switching the point of attack, finding Solomon Asante. Dambuya. Awkward ball in, handled by McFarland. Lambert trying to get to it. Sonny Guadarrama went to ground early, but somehow was able to put in a challenge. Brafide. Dutchman always clever on the ball. Guadarrama. Good vision to pick out Baez. Former Chivas man lashes one in. Lubin strong fists away. That was an important play from a man who's already made one huge play tonight. Tumasi. Soto's on a yellow card along with McFarland on either side of the exterior of the defense for Marcelo Serrano. Baez, good build up here from Austin. McFarland on the first time, good ball in, and the header's just wide. That's Austin Bolt at their finest, getting Sion McFarland involved and looking for the likes of Andre Lima, and it almost paid off.
This is some of that patience that we said they needed to exhibit a bit more in the second half if they were going to find the back of the net, moving it left to right quite impressively. It's not even an overlapping run from McFarland because he had already moved his line very high, but they're still looking for Andre Lima. That is the man who has been atop the score sheet all season long, looking for number 15 on the year, 14 in the back of the net so far. And we haven't even addressed the fact that they're still without Kleber, serving the 4-game suspension. If he's to make a return, he's got to make it all the way with his squad to the Western Conference Final. So they are without their second leading scorer. That's a lot on the shoulders of number 99.
For a group that hasn't exactly been pumping goals in the back of the net at Phoenix Rising's rate, which capped off at 89 during the regular season. And we do have an update on the Fresno El Paso game. After Fresno get their equalizer just a few minutes ago, they go ahead and get their go-ahead goal in the form of Alex Cooper.
Turn around for that team, huh? They need it, the way that they've been playing.
But it just goes to show, I mean, yeah, you'd love to be in good form heading into the postseason, but it was the same thing with Phoenix last year. I mean, they stumbled in to the most important time of the year, and they still ended up being Western Conference champs and getting themselves into a USL Cup final.
Fair enough, and I will say this, that totally in agreement. However, knowing the body of work that they put out, I don't know if that 2-1's a good 2-1. That may be a very sloppy 2 goals, whereas Phoenix last year, when I saw it of them, they actually look good come playoff time.
Here's the real question, though. Does it matter?
To me, it matters to win a championship, yes. Because the team can't get by.
But from a game-to-game basis.
A team won't win a championship slipping and slopping through like that.
You're not wrong. But you're not right.
Okay. Marcelo Serrano hoping that his boys are right. Coming in the next 32 minutes. Did that math correctly? Well done. You can see all the boys in the background. Quick little look, Jorge Troncoso. Just wonder if it's now the time where they have to force the hand already. They don't want to do it. That man's been quite busy all night long. Josue Soto, one of the ones trusted with the responsibility of marking Solomon Asante. So let's talk about that while they're tending to their fallen comrade. What Austin Bold is doing right now is quite impressive. They got their back line of 4. They're pulling their outside midfielders even deeper, almost creating a line of 6 at times where either Brafite or Kugo are dropping down in the middle, Guadarrama and Lima coming back. This is all hands on deck defending. And they're getting in one-on-one situations where it's not fully man marking, but they are letting each other account for variability. So you're challenged one-on-one, they're passing here and there, but a lot of them is just a quick follow. And that's something that this team has done both offensively and defensively all year long. When it came to their formations, they've sat 4 in the middle, they've gone with 5, they've played 3 at the back, 4-3-3. They've done so many different things, which has given the chance to go toe-to-toe with Phoenix Rising.
And it's time for the Sonic Happy Hour, brought to you by Sonic. Enjoy the Car Op Classic for a knockout price of $2.99. If a Rising player scores during the 60th minute, one lucky fan will win a $500 Sonic gift card. For more info, visit phxrisingfc.com/Sonic. Naga just scoops it up over the top, hoping that Dio will be able to keep it in play and find Fleming's unable to do so. But Carroll, rare miscue, trying to pick it out of the sky. And Sonny Guadarrama rushed that a bit. Corey Whelan turns the corner after a little bit of help from a deflection from Iwo Tomasi. Dio over the top for Asante, perfect ball. And Asante's first touch was a bit cumbersome. That allows Restrepo to get a piece of it. And that'll conclude the Sonic Happy Hour.
Not necessarily sure Solomon Asante was able to get eyes on this ball when it came through. Small in stature, but the IQ of the highest authority, and just drops right in behind. Jermaine Terrell wasn't necessarily sure he was going to get it. Difficult trap for Solomon Asante, and look, it's a glimmer, right? That's what Phoenix Rising is looking for right now. Some sort of progression going forward as this continues to seesaw, and this topsy-turvy match is a cause for concern for Phoenix. They don't really have that fluid movement they've been able to have in matches past.
Fleming's not a bad idea for Dia. And the offside flag is up.
You be the judge. Is he off? Yes.
Which one?
Most definitely. Exactly. Pick a number, boys. I'll take number 13 for 300, Alex.
Baez working on Akinaga. Solid at his hold-up play. Kugo. Tomasi, 1v1 with Solo. Sonny Guadarrama. Okugo again. Long distance effort. Picked up by the shortstop, Zach Lubin.
One of the things that you've really noticed a quality change in Phoenix Rising over the course of the 2019 season, Adam John's going to get himself in trouble, is their ability to impressively distribute coming out of the back. Corey Whelan showing off some of the chops there, going after Adam John. AJ Cochran was one of the guys who you and I always quite impressed with, that beautiful left foot of his. But could that range extend even further, where when this game is compressed into a 40, 50-yard span, can one of them come out of the back? That's something that Corey Whelan has really taken to heart. And it's impressive if you watch him, 8, 9, 10 guys pushed into a really small space. And I'm just talking about Rising players. You throw Austin Bolden in the mix, now you've got a boatload of bodies in a really small space that's even more difficult to find the proper windows. That's when you need something out of the norm. We talked about the man marking, how they're still passing here and there. Corey Whelan, AJ Cochran, when you get to half field, one of these guys stepping up in. Now, sometimes it can be a bit of a gamble, especially Austin Bold, if they're pressing or not. But if you break that first line of pressure, or even you take the step up and you make somebody else come challenge you, that's going to open up spaces somewhere else. we really haven't seen that out of Rising yet.
Asante, great play to find Dambuya. Run B made behind the ball. John trying to get there. And it's good hustle from Adam John. He knocks it off of Jermaine Taylor. And a corner kick coming up for Phoenix Rising. 64th minute, Junior Fleming's trying to get the crowd involved. Will it perhaps be a set piece that'll break this gauntlet of a defense for Austin Bold? Awkward for Restrepo. He wants to go quickly. Ramage trying to move the train along for Phoenix Rising. The assistant coaches on the technical staff for Rick Schatz. Of course, he was a member of that team that fell in the Western Conference quarterfinals to Swope Park Rangers in penalty kicks in 2017 in the two-day affair. It looked like Dambuya couldn't quite stop his momentum before running into the advertisement stanchion. Looks like he's cramping up a little bit.
Grimace on the face as well, and uh-oh, that's not a good look. As he tries to get up, he knows it too. A couple of the boys from Bolt had come over to try and help him up, and that is a cause for concern if you're Rick Schatz.
To me, you have two options here if he's unable to go. Kyle Bjornathan, or you bring on Joey Farrell and you move either Joey or Corey out wide.
That's simple for me. You bring on Joey Farrell, you just like Corey outside. With all due respect to Bjornathan, he's a left-sided player, and you just don't have the option of Austin Ledbetter. He's on the bench tonight.
I mean, this is why the decisions of not only who's going to be starting, but also who are going to be your 7 subs is so important. And there's no way that Rick Schatz could have predicted that it's going to be his right outside back that's the one that's going to get hurt. As Phoenix are down to 10 men for the moment, Joey Farrell will warm up. Baez, McFarland, working on Amadou Dia, cover in the form of Aguinaga. Guadarrama lofts one in, nodded away by Whelan. John got himself a little bit of hot water here, but able to draw the foul. Guadarrama was a bit late on the challenge, and now medical attention will come onto the field for these two.
This was just moments ago where Mustafa Dambuya making that far post run. Beautiful build up by Phoenix. Long ball coming out of the back, flicked through by Solomon Asante. Imitumasi chasing, and he just pulls in here, and you can see his leg just gets tucked up underneath him. Immediately, he just lays there, and you're hoping, okay, maybe it's a cramp. He tries to walk it off, but you can tell he's not okay. Shaking of the head. There's some communication going on the far side of the field from the training staff. And we're getting word now that it will be Joey Farrell. And we've seen this look before where Joey Farrell will come on. Corey Whelan will then go to the right back position. Corey Whelan's got wheels, but Imitumasi has speed. And there's a difference there. Quick acceleration is there, and that's going to be a difficult matchup now where you wonder the advantage Austin Bold on that left flank for them. Do they start to pump more balls out there? Now they're already going that direction anyway because Javi Baez is basically a possession-based attacker right now where he's holding form and allowing someone else to come in front of him, allowed Sion McFarland to get around him as Guadarrama will go into the book on the challenge by Adam John just a second ago. Nice to see both those boys back up. But now just a bit more. Can you try and push numbers to that far side of the field?
So Joey Farrell comes onto the field and replaces Mustafa Dambuya as Farrell does move into that right center back position. Whelan moves out to the right back spot. Amadou Dia on the other end puts one across for Solomon Asante. Wasn't a bad idea whatsoever. And Asante with a bit of a scuffed pass there. Allows Austin to come out the other way. Given right back to Phoenix. Baquero, boy, he's been quiet in the second half. And that was one of Devon's players to keep an eye on in the second 45 minutes, and he's almost dwindled even further in the second half. Fleming's trying to switch it. Okugo gets in the way. Austin want a foul in the middle of the field, particularly Andre Lima. They're not going to get it. Here comes Corey Whelan out of the back. Asante finds Fleming's in some space. Junior Fleming's going for goal, and he only finds the parking lot.
This is some of that step we talked about. Someone's got to find a way to give a different look here. And Corey Whelan, he's not coming from a center back position, but let's go after a one-on-one from the outside back. I love these little steps that he takes. The confidence that you have as a defender to come off the back line and run downhill at defenders. That's where Junior Flemings understands, okay, if they're gonna step to him, I can just slide over and eventually something is going to make my way. That's really well read by the Englishman, and that's something that Phoenix are gonna need to pump more of in his direction.
Phoenix at the moment have one shot on target. Austin has two. Phoenix have only mustered up 7 total shots, but that includes shots that have been blocked. And Kevin Lambert going into the book.
Number 27, Kevin Lambert.
Got to be something from earlier challenges with Kevin Lambert. He does get the arm on the back of the attacker, but it's not necessarily enough to put him into the book. Look at Amobi Okugo just drifting behind Adam John in that far post. That's 2v1.
Headers won initially by Austin. Tumasi's shot goes in negative fashion. Here comes Flemings on the other end. Doesn't have a ton of numbers with him. He was trying to take on the entire Austin Bolt defense by himself. Gets stood up by Okugo. And this game is starting to open up just a little bit more with 20 minutes remaining. Winner will take on the Monarchs in the Western Conference semifinals. Reese in, Lima. Tumasi trying to turn. Soto. Aginaga with good defensive pressure. And Asante's taken down.
Notice when Junior Flemings went down just a second ago, not one single player on Phoenix Rising were complaining. They recognized there was a good tackle that came back across. It's a tiny bit from a negative position, but really well done to win the ball and then go the other way by Austin Bold in Phoenix. You just see, if this game continues to open up, that's going to bode for them much better than for the Austin squad. This is a team that likes to run at you, and Austin had done themselves so well to sit compressed and then try and push the other way. When you extend it, you open up more space for guys like Solomon Asante, Junior Flemings to get the ball in front of them and run at you.
Tumasi won too many touches, but somehow Lima comes away with it and lifts one to the near side at the bottom of your screen for Baez. Guadarrama. A painfully pragmatic performance from Austin as well as Phoenix has yielded no goals over the course of 72.5 minutes. Lambert was clever to find John in that space, and it opens up a world of space for Solomon Asante. Look at Corey Whelan getting forward. Asante going for goal. It takes a deflection, but that's probably the most dangerous move we've seen from Phoenix tonight.
Look at the energy from the captain. Right to the corner immediately. Everybody asking the fans to get up here. A lot of energy coming right now. Joey Farrell coming up off the back line. We said more space, more opportunities for the speedster on the outside. Remember who got you here. I don't care about the struggles from the penalty mark.
It was saved off the line by Restrepo. Adam John has his hand up, motioning for a goal. Dia gets taken down. And now Phoenix find themselves very much on the front foot.
They tried to go quick here and then slowed down and then had a little fun with our cameras. That's fine. No, that's not in. Diego Restrepo does a good job keeping this off the back line. Yeah, really well done. Coming off the crossbar, though. Good save by the goalkeeper. Wondering how an attacker that far out can go unmarked.
So it's Chris Tierpak coming on and replacing Sonny Guadarrama. Seems like the right decision from Marcelo Serrano, given the fact that Sonny is on a yellow card and really hasn't looked like himself tonight. But again, it's been a performance that Austin have had to be extremely patient. But these are the types of moments that Chris Tierpak seemed to relish in. He has scored some big goals in his career, and he is an opportunist at his very core. Asante. Baquero. AJ Cochran trying to pick out Corey Whelan, does so beautifully. And Whelan couldn't quite keep it in play, and goal kick coming despite the fact that the ball crossed over the line.
Some direction coming from the sideline of Austin Bolt, as well as Phoenix arguing the call on the far side of the field, looking to switch some players up. Chris Tierpak, you wonder, this last game where they bring him on as a substitute, but where he's been at his best for Austin Bolt is out on the wing. And you wonder if they're going to allow Imu Tomasi to push himself up and push Tierpak out on the left. Now, mind you, you can also move Javi Baez in there. But the easiest look right now is to allow things to kind of stay the same, where you keep that focal point just underneath Andre Lima. I do like the idea of having Imu Tomasi up there. Takes away the defensive responsibility for him as he's been tracking Salman Asante all night.
Lambert did well to find Dia. He bends one in, looking for John, and the header goes in a negative fashion. Diego Restrepo with a hand of apology. He's been known to cough balls away, especially here at Casino Arizona Field. He did it when he was with San Antonio FC, and Salman Asante punished him for it. Another corner kick coming up for the #1 seed in the Western Conference and the regular season champs. Baquero. Ball's loose in the box, cleared away. Aguinaga's header right into the path of Tierpak. Dia back in, Fleming should be onside. Junior Flemings towards the byline. Beautiful cutback. Flemings once more, still Flemings, and it's cleared away by Reese. Another corner. And things start to heat up in the desert.
Austin Bolt got to be smarter in their decisions here. When they start to counterattack the other way, Tierpak has to put a little bit of volume underneath this. You're going to go far post, switch this into the corner, go the aerial route, and allow your team to get in behind you. The visitors are starting to unravel.
Not the best delivery. McFarland first to it. Phoenix putting the clamps down. Flemings. He's starting to find himself in the mood. And he finds another corner for Phoenix. Aguinaga, tons of space, goes for the curler. Blocked in front. Back in from Cochran. was told to let it go. Keeps it in play. Asante trying to wiggle his way towards the byline. Back for Baquero. Time and space to deliver. Baquero at the near post. Asante was offside. Diaz sticks in the toe. Aguinaga beaten to the ball by Baez. Lambert got the ball, at least says the referee. Baquero back for Diaz. Asante now. Edge of the area. Lambert tries to put it on frame. Phoenix Lander took a deflection, but Osmanovic points to the spot, and Diego Restrepo goes down.
The momentum is swinging 100% towards Phoenix Rising right now. Everybody that you could want on the ball is starting to get involved in the act. John Baquero, Amadou Dia, Salman Asante. This is a relative who's who of awards winners for the regular season champs. It's not capped off by a goal, but they are really doing well for themselves right now. And they can just continue down this path. Rick Schantz now going to his bench. Fresh legs coming to the likes of Joey Calistri, the Spaniard. Aguinaga done for the night. Golf clap for him, still work to be done.
So Calistri, the Northwestern alum, started his career with the Tulsa Roughnecks, spent a year with St. Louis FC and the St. Louligans, and has played more of a super sub role for Rick Schantz in the 2019 season, but has scored 6 goals in that capacity. Comes onto the scene here, and his most heroic performance, of course, was that late second half brace against New Mexico United at the Lab. And it's 2-2 between Fresno and El Paso. James Kiffey with the equalizer. What a game in Northern California.
What's up with all these defenders thinking they can score goals? I love it. Good for you, boys.
Miscommunication between Lambert and Calistri. Somehow Lambert comes away with it. And Phoenix sense that there is blood in the water, and they're trying to go as quickly as possible at every restart. Sent in, Fleming's back in, Restrepo punches it away, and Baez even further. Phoenix continue to just pound on the door. Dia long throw it back in, Lambert going for the curler, blocked by Lima. All hands on deck defensively for Austin Bold at the moment. Lima coming onto that right leg. Looked like Thomas DiViardi was getting set to come on for Austin just a few moments ago. He had his training top off and his kit ready to go.
The difference you get here is DiViardi's a central midfielder. He's a guy that they're bringing in to usually lock down the middle of the field, whether it be supplemental or starting role. With Andre Lima coming down, you wonder, are you going to push Tierpek up now? This is going to be a different shift for sure for Marcelo Serrano's squad. You could hear some of the Phoenix fans thinking that maybe he's trying to kill time off. Yeah, this isn't going to be a draw, folks. Sit back. We're going to get a winner out of this, whether it be 90 minutes or not. And unfortunately, Austin Bold, from the card being turned in, they're going to have to do it without their leading scorer, Andre Lima, who is in some kind of pain on that right side. 14 goals this season. Already talked about him. Remember, second on that list, Kleber. So their top 2 boys no longer at their disposal.
Lima comes off to Booz here. in the Valley of the Sun. Not his most glamorous night, but it doesn't need to be glamorous in the postseason. It just needs to be effective. And the University of Delaware product, Thomas DiViardi, comes on here in the 84th minute. The Frenchman who spent some time with Rebels U23, Seattle U23, makes a late appearance. And another update in El Paso and Fresno. 3-2 in favor of El Paso Locomotive, and Sebastian Velasquez right now with the game winner from the penalty spot. Such a difficult ball for John McCarroll when he did have an option open in the middle of the field. But fortune certainly favors the bold. Pun not intended.
I was going to say pun intended there. Let's look at the Western Conference right now and the way that the playoffs are taking shape. So in the play-in games, both the seeds won. 7 and 8 won. That's fine. So you move on. Right now, outside of what happened earlier today where Real Monarchs got their victory over Orange County, you've got Reno who went down to Sacramento, El Paso in the driver's seat, and Austin Bold right there. All of the seeds that are higher up have a chance to move on.
Tumasi, good build-up here from Austin. Any goal now would be a massive dagger and a potential game winner. Lofted in. John trying to win it back, and he was a bit too handsy in his efforts. That is the right call, and a yellow card for the big man as well. So John will go into the book. And you can save thousands of dollars when you buy or sell your home. Homie gives you the support to buy or sell your home without charging the 6% commissions. It's a flat $1,500 to sell your home, no matter what the price of the home is. Go to homie.com to learn more.
They've lined up on that far left side to maybe play something down into the corner. Just inside 5 minutes to go. Go direct. Be smart here. Phoenix has really worked themselves into the aggressor position. Austin Bold just looking for something to counterpunch with.
Header won by Whelan. That one sent back to Austin. Joey Farrell, the Pennsylvania native who came on as a substitute for Mustafa Dambuya, who went down injured about 20 minutes ago. Dia, he's had some big moments this season. Calistri. Austin racing to try to keep it in play or at least avoid the corner, but they're unable to do so. And another set piece for Phoenix Rising, and the Phoenix Rising faithful rise to their feet. But Carroll on top of it. Good ball in. Header won by Austin initially. Race to the ball between Asante and Tumasi. Rare giveaway from Asante in such a dangerous area. Tierpak runs beyond the ball. He's offside. Tumasi's still with it. Tierpak. And easily handled by Lubin.
And some of that decision making we talked about where Tumasi and Chris Tierpak just got to get on the same page here. You've got a back post run. DiViardi was coming in as well. That was one of the better looks that they've had over the last 10 minutes. Not a great one but a chance to run downhill. Poor giveaway on the far side by Solomon Asante. Tell you what, Ema Tumasi, not only does he have a lot of speed, he has put in one heck of a shift on that far side of the field.
That one got all the way through, even past Jermaine Taylor, but Adam John wasn't exactly expecting it to get there.
I'm going full throttle right now if I'm Phoenix Rising. This Austin Bolt team is gassed. They do not have anything left. And just think, if this thing somehow gets into extra time, if I'm Phoenix, I don't mind it. You've still got the opportunity to put the pedal to the metal. Something that this club has really taken full advantage of. Sports science, they've gone after it. They talked about it all year long, how rotation in players, the depth chart, and the high press out. That physical ask is quite demanding. And yes, they've had to work their way into it, something that they weren't accustomed to in that match back in April that they lost 1-0. But this is a very different team. Remember, you're starting outside backs in that match were Tristan Blackman and Lamar Batista. This is a very different squad now. They can go high tempo a lot longer, and they have started to turn it up the last 15 minutes.
Asante wheeling, getting forward. Solomon Asante digs it in. We're hearing 8 minutes of stoppage time.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official on the field has indicated that there will be a minimum of 8 minutes of stoppage time remaining.
Wow, it's a gift, 8 minutes for either one of these teams.
Flemings. Patient and poised from the regular season champs at the moment. Looking to find that weak spot underneath the armor of Austin that's been impenetrable thus far. But that's certainly not it.
Notice this respect being shown on this right side where, number one, Austin Bold not willing to overcommit numbers. This is just a survive situation right now. Trying to pick off one spot here or there, but Javi Baez, he sees Junior Flemings. He's not willing to go toe-to-toe with him. He steps back off. He's going to allow the pressure to come. Marcelo Serrano wondering if he can organize the troops for any last-ditch efforts here. Decision-making has not been the best here in the second half, and especially the last 15 to 20 minutes, it has been all the home squad. But at some point in time, someone's got to hit the pressure release, because this has just been one after another for Rising pushing forward.
Dia, big diagonal ball, and Asante makes a mess of the first touch. It has not been anywhere near his night. You can make that statement for probably the past 4 or 5 weeks, basically since the Fresno game where he missed 2 from the penalty spot in a matter of about 10 minutes. Tumasi, here he goes, and a good step from AJ Cochran. Falls right to Junior Flemings. Flemings cutting up some more defenders. Falls for Baquero. And he had the right idea trying to find John, but it's just so far off from an execution standpoint.
John peeling off to the near post. He wanted this ball, and you also wonder, when you don't have Adam John, Junior Flemings, or Solomon Asante firing in all cylinders, why doesn't John Baquero take this into his own hands? Selfishly, one of the better marksmen when given the chance, have a go at goal. Diego Restrepo has already proven multiple times this evening that his spacing is a bit off. They hit the post twice. Adam John was one of those ones early on. And when you get a chance this late in the game, those are tired legs. Just put it on the laces and have a go.
Pressure from Joey Calistri. We're seeing at times Phoenix maybe not looking like their normal selves, at least the Phoenix we saw during that historic 20-game winning streak. At times afraid to take matters into their own hands. At least from what Devin said, from an individual standpoint, and being a little bit selfish. We've seen them at times tonight try to walk the ball into the back of the net. McCarroll, well done. Flemings away from the first challenge. Asante, if he had let that go through, would have been in on the far side. Lambert wants to go quickly. Tomasi tracking back even in the 95th minute. Lambert stepping through, stood up. Big ball the other way. Tomasi's there. Tierpak the only one forward for Austin with Tomasi. Tomasi into the area. Tomasi, and it just skirts wide. That close.
This kid's body has got to be on mental overload. The physical attrition as well that has taken its toll. Trying to pick out that far post. He's got Chris Tierpak in the middle. DiViardi was right at the top of the 18, and you and I both agree that might have taken a little deflection.
Here comes Austin again. Look how open this game is. And now Phoenix will try to get numbers back behind the ball. 96th minute. Curled in. And Joey Farrell needed to be careful with that one. Corner kick coming up for Austin. You saw the 14 shots from Phoenix, but 13 out of those 14 have come more or less in the second half.
For Austin, this is it. You're approaching the 98th minute. You're really, really tired, and we already talked about the fact that this team just looks absolutely exhausted. The thought of going to extra time, if I'm in a white jersey right now, is nothing appealing to me whatsoever. If you're gonna win it, you gotta go do it now.
Here comes the corner at the near post. It's won by Austin. Back in from Taylor. Strong header from Joey Calistri. Fleming sticking his head where no man would like to stick it. Brafide. McFarland onside. And delivery denied by Cochran. Full time, El Paso 3, Fresno 2. The Foxes' season comes to a close, and it's an early exit in the postseason. McFarland, what a play from A.J. Cochran.
Guess who's on the back post? Tima Tomasi. I'll tell you what, just in terms of overall distribution, I'm trying to figure out, in the run of play, I'm probably taking Sion McFarland. Set pieces, I'm taking John Baquero. Those two guys hit a ball almost better than anyone in the entire USL Championship. Really pretty to watch.
Now it's Austin in the dying moments of stoppage time that are on the front foot and threatening a very late game winner. Cochran will just send it away. Final 30 seconds of the 8 minutes that have been added on, and Austin wants to go again. They don't want extra time. Having played midweek in the play-in game in a grueling match against Los Dos, Baez digs it in. It gets all the way through, and Lubin makes the save. DiViardi was right there. And we are headed to extra time. Scoreless through 98 minutes of play. We'll have two 15-minute periods to try to determine who will take on the Real Monarchs. If it's Austin to progress, it'll be in Harriman, Utah. If Phoenix can eke it out at home, it'll run through Casino Arizona Field. Stick around to find out. You're not going to want to go anywhere.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a few years old or dinosaur old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
Mobile Mini is a lockdown defender. Have peace of mind using Mobile Mini, guarding all of your valuables on site, at home, or at your business. Mobile Mini storage containers are made of 100% steel and maximize your protection with our patented Tri-Cam locking system that is camera-proof, cut-proof, and drill-proof. Proud partner of Phoenix Rising FC.
Team huddles currently going on as we are headed into extra time. Two 15-minute periods to try to settle who will move on to the Western Conference semifinals. If not, and we're still level, we'll head to penalties, which would be the first round of penalties in these 2019 USL Championship playoffs. Tyler Terrence along with Devin Kerr will take a look at the Whataburger What a Save of the match while we have a moment, and it's coming from none other than Zach Lubin. And Devin, this easily could have been a goal for Austin, and quite honestly, it should have been.
It's a youngster mistake by Imi Tomasi where he's got to understand he's already got the goalkeeper flat-footed. His own momentum was already shifting to the left, so just bring it across your body and tuck it home. Instead, he has too much time, plays mind games with himself, gets out in front of it. Phenomenal save by Zach Lubin. And you really wondered, okay, so is this thing really going to open itself up and see the end-to-end stuff that he thought it might be? No, it didn't. I'm sorry, you're going to be disappointed. However, there was some really tactful play. I like the idea going to Adam John. We saw the counter-attacking options. This ball slid in. We just showed you a second ago. Should have been 1-0. Imi Tomasi, you have to do better. And this kid has put in some kind of effort. There's more to be done. But that 100% should have been the visitors out in front. Instead, second chance again for Phoenix Rising in the second half. Does it go in? Nope, off the woodwork.
And then Austin Bold would start to find themselves on the front foot. What a night Imo Tomasi has had himself, and he almost had himself a game-winning goal in the dying moments of this one. The Wake Forest product put on a show going in the other direction, and he was by far the most dangerous player for Marcelo Serrano's group. Let's take a look at the Western Conference bracket. We have all spots filled in the Western Conference semifinals but one. El Paso Locomotive moving on in the most dramatic of fashions. They took a 1-0 lead. They surrender it. They go down 2-1. They get an equalizer in James Kiffey. They get a game winner in Sebastian Velasquez. Now you have a 6 and 7 seed matchup on one side of the bracket and potentially an 8v4 if Austin can pull it off.
The only team right now that have lived up to the hype, Real Monarchs. Everybody else is struggling with their opponent. Phoenix Rising is the only one that has the opportunity in terms of the better seed to continue to move on. You see that 2 goes down, the 3 goes down. Phoenix Rising hoping that they're not walking the same line.
Well, it smiles, it's loose from Phoenix Rising Football Club. They have to feel like they have the edge, given the fact that they've had a normal week of rest and training. Meanwhile, for Austin Bold, Devin, we've talked about it ad nauseum at this point, but it cannot be ignored. You just played 90 minutes in a playoff atmosphere back in Texas on Wednesday night, and now you find yourself on a night where you're having to play 120-plus minutes. And here's what happened the last time that these two sides played back in April Forget the 6-0 July game. Austin Bold, Sonny Guadarrama, that was the game winner, and all sorts of question marks arose on Phoenix Rising. Rick Johnson was quite honest with us. He wasn't even sure he was going to be around for this long during the 2019 campaign. It was obviously a big turnaround after this.
Funny how things change, though, over the course of the season. We talk about how everything starts to take a different shape. After that match, he was wondering, am I going to have to tell my wife, this is a chance that came to me, and unfortunately, I couldn't pull it off. Instead, the story being sung after that 20-game winning streak was something very different. He was humble, grateful. His exact words were, 4 years ago, I was the head coach of FC Tucson, a PDL team at that point in time, and a U15 girls team that could barely put 2 passes together. Then they rattle off 20 in a row. They have set themselves up to succeed. Now you have 30 minutes to go out and execute.
I don't think this is what anyone expected here at Casino Arizona Field. They expected to roll through Austin just like they did back in mid-July by a score of 6-0. But this is a resilient, emotional, and organized Austin Bold side. They have done extremely well to get to this point. Where does it go from here? We know we have 30 minutes ahead, no golden goal, 2 15-minute periods. If we're still level, we head to penalties. This is what the USL Championship postseason is all about. Saw a great spell from Phoenix from about minute 80 until the 90th or so, where they were threatening and then some. And then in stoppage time, it was all Austin Bold, and it looked like they were going to be the ones to go ahead and get the game winner. But outside of those 10 minutes, there was never really a rhythm or a flow to this game. Credit to Austin for sort of creating that makeup. Tired legs, tired minds, especially with the boys wearing white. Dia in for Flemings. He's got space. Asante's got even more space. He goes for goal, and it's just over the bar. If anyone needs a goal on this team right now, it's the runaway MVP. He hasn't looked like himself by a long shot in the last month of this season, but a goal would go a long way.
This is one of the few guys that will you give a pass. It's fine, let him go after it, because when you're lacking confidence, when you've missed from the spot a couple of times, you know that he can still produce that magic. So I don't mind the try from distance whatsoever. You don't want it to turn into a regular situation, but a couple minutes into overtime, test the goalkeeper and see if you can go get something early.
League leader in goals and assists, 22 and 17. Cochran with a solid defensive play. Joey Farrell has come on and done really well, sliding into that center back role. Forcing Corey Whelan to go out wide into the right back position after Mustafa Nabuya went down with an injury. Dia fizzes one in and gets all the way through, but no trouble for Austin. What a story this is. Austin Bold, an expansion club in their first season on the road against the most successful team in USL Championship regular season history, a team that put together the longest winning streak in American soccer history. And they are slugging it out, a 15-plus round affair. Other goals in this one?
In theory, someone's got to score. I mean, if it's from the spot, it doesn't matter. Although that goes back to our time-old argument of, if you win in penalties, is it a win or a draw? Funny how statistically they call it a draw.
McFarland putting on the moves on Dia. McFarland got through, but A.J. Cochran is there to make sure it doesn't get to his keeper. Baez just loops it back in. Here comes Lubin, has to punch it away. Soto. Diviardi. Farrell wants to go quickly. It's blocked by Diviardi, and it should be a yellow card, and it will be. Mustard of the spicy brown variety.
With the tired legs going on here, Austin Bold just pushing a few numbers forward here. Mainly, that's in Bradfight number 3. The guy that Marcelo Serrano was really high on. Why not? Anyone that's played in a World Cup final, sign me up. Unfortunately, some visa issues earlier on this season.
Slipped through, Tierpak, offside.
Felt like he was going to be the one who really gave this team that edge. And he was trying to just a moment ago, stepping up out of the middle on that far side with Iman Tumasi. And I asked him, I said, with Edson Bradfight and Amobi Okugo, two very versatile players, are these guys that you knew would end up in the middle of the field? And he said, listen, I have the luxury where I can play them wherever need be. Now, necessity has been kind of a pain in the backside for him, to be honest. Injuries, some unfortunate circumstances that we talked about before. But specifically referencing Amobi Okugo, and John Hackworth, former national team coach, said this, youth national team coach said this as well about Amobi Okugo, that he's the number 6. He should be a holding midfielder. He can push into an 8 as well.
Tierpak brings this down beautifully. Still Tierpak lays it off. Tumasi now. Iman Tumasi all the way through. Lubin got a piece of it, and it's a huge save again from Zach Lubin. Calamity at the back from Phoenix, but their outstanding keeper bails them out.
This is well done by Chris Tierpak to hold it up, but you wonder, why doesn't he pull the trigger first time? Up over the back, it's not a bad touch out in front of him, but he elects to pull it back, and then Iman Tumasi has to go over to the left foot. A much tighter angle, but still a lot to be asked of Zach Lubin, and he's up to it.
Ensuing corner for Austin Bold. Baez. That one skirts through. All sorts of trouble here for Phoenix, and they don't get rid of it. Okugo back from where it came. It's Baez. Loops it in. Terrific ball. Tierpak was there, but it's over his head and out of play.
That's some of the distribution that I was just leading into, that both Marcelo Serrano and John Hackworth, who both worked together, by the way, for that U17 national team, said that Amobi is a holding midfielder by nature, but he has the luxury of playing as a center back, not the other way around. And some people misconstrue that over the course of his career, where maybe he was misutilized in certain positions. But his ability from a distribution standpoint, that's a good look at it. Brings it down, quick little spray outside, and they go again. Shantz, Corey Robertson, Blair Gavin, Pete Ramage just sitting on the sideline, and you're wondering, when are my front three going to get this going? Where is Junior Fleming, Solomon Asante, Adam John, and where are they all together? This has been very situational for the boys up top. Felt like Junior was starting to get going at the tail end of the second half. Can he run on now?
Fleming's trying to pick out John. That's popped straight up into the air. John's got the advantage here. Asante sneaks through. Still Asante. Solomon Asante sends it into the stands. It would have been a goal to remember in front of the South End for Asante in the postseason. But instead, it's a souvenir.
He's saying, keep an eye here. He might not be that far off. If he goes to ground here, this might be a penalty. But instead, he stays on his feet. Watch this little touch right here on the backside, right there. Gets out in front. You just sort of wonder, because we've seen him go down before and referees have called it for less. There is contact on that left leg. I give credit to Solomon Asante. Still gives himself a chance. Unfortunately, always leaning away and back. Very difficult strike.
Francis Atuahene getting set to come on. Another FC Dallas loan. Both he and Nima Tumasi were actually with OKC Energy FC a year ago. Now loaned out to Marcelo Serrano as Atuahene comes on and replaces Javi Baez. As Baez limps off, Atuahene onto the scene in the 100th minute. Another Right to Dream Academy product. Terrific future ahead of him. And like Tumasi, was a top 15 overall draft pick in the 2018 MLS Super Draft by FC Dallas.
Hats off to Javi Baez, by the way. Did very well on this side against Junior Flemings. But as this match has continued to go on, Fleming's starting to get more looks. They had to find a way to get fresh legs out there.
Atuahene right onto the scene, right into the mix. Tier pack.
This does give them another speedy option on the outside. Francis Atuahene, one of those guys coming in to FC Dallas when drafted very high on. Shaka Daly doing a good job of the Michigan Wolverines.
Here is Atuahene. It's all the way through, and Lubin might have gotten another piece to it. The referee says he did not. It'll just be a goal kick. But immediately the Wolverine showing what he's got in store and what he's bringing to the table.
For just this reason, it's not just the pace, but watch his willingness to turn and run at someone. Very good one-on-one situations. It's a quick little touch to the right side and then unleashes to the far post. He scored in 50% of his collegiate goals for a reason, and that's a real good look at it.
Calistri somehow stays on his feet and keeps possession for Phoenix. Asante goes back for Calistri, around a challenge. Things opening up for Phoenix. Here's Flemings, cuts it back, Junior Flemings, and it's off the face of Jermaine Taylor. It is a head injury, and Marcelo Serrano immediately wanting the medical staff to get onto the field. Really scary moment for Taylor, who took an absolute rocket to the face off the foot of Junior Flemings.
This is a scary one. Junior Flemings doing some beautiful dancing on the far side, but he takes it square in the face. I mean, right off the noggin for Jermaine Taylor. Good job by the center back, as the other side had gotten beat. Sam McFarland does not always get turned around. Restrepo was beat. He was in no man's land. Not necessarily sure he was going to get to that. But well done by the referee. He understood immediately that there was an issue and needed to be tended to.
Taylor, one of those just unbelievably experienced center backs on this roster for Marcelo Serrano, 34 years of age, from Jamaica. Was with Minnesota United for a brief stint. Spent some time with Portland, the Houston Dynamo. More than 100 caps with the Reggae Boys. Was part of that Jamaica side. They got to the final against the United States in 2017. Was named to the CONCACAF Best 11. His teammates in Andre Blake and Kamar Lawrence.
You're just digging way down into the well right now. That's a lot of respect I have right now for you.
I got a tremendous amount of respect for the work that Jermaine Taylor's put in over his career and everything that he's been able to do. And he's been sort of one of those calming presences for Marcelo Serrano along the back line, in the locker room, as he's going through the concussion protocol at the moment. And even Phoenix Rising medical staff is getting involved as well. And when you have a moment like that where it's just clear as day, a head injury, only thing that matters at that point in time is the player's safety. Just so you're all aware, you get one extra substitution in extra time, so that's just a fourth substitution in addition to the 3 that you're allotted over the course of 90 minutes. For Marcelo Serrano, that means he has 1 left. He's used 3, bringing on DiViardi. Atuahene and Chris Tierpak. Meanwhile, for Phoenix Rising, they've only brought on Calistri and Joey Farrell. You just wonder if you might have a Jason Johnson and or a Ben Spencer sighting.
Especially with how much this team has struggled with aerial balls recently. Things being knocked in, and that lack of presence by Adam John. That's nothing against their talisman up top. Just hasn't necessarily been able to get on the tail end of stuff. And when you throw two big bodies up there, it changes the total landscape of this team going forward if you go that route. But the way things are playing out right now, you're hitting that 105th minute. You would imagine that's probably going to take shape in the second portion of this extra time period.
Sante finding some space and finding Corey Whelan. Wheeling in for Baquero, and a good step along the back line from Sion McFarland. That's a terrific read. That's just pure defensive instincts.
He had lined that one up too. John Baquero was all over it. Side volley, Naaman Lights already running to celebrate with the supporters group. And there's that shift of momentum once again by the home squad. Felt like there was this up and down in the second half where it was kind of okay, we're going to continue much of the same. And now who's going to take shape?
Dia, good defensive play from Gustavo Risi. The Brazilian gets down, but concedes the corner. It's a blackout here on a Saturday night at Casino Arizona Field. The towels are moving. They're looking to get that score sheet moving. Baquero. Lambert lining it up, wins it. Out in front, Restrepo spills it and cleared away by Brafite. Taken away by Tumasi. How good has he been tonight? AJ Cochran, as he was trying to retreat to his spot at center back, ends up winning the ball back for Phoenix. Here comes Junior Flemings. He's got it to a Hene beat, taken down from behind. Elvis Osmanovic doesn't like it. And a dangerous set piece in prime real estate coming up for the home side.
Interesting how he had his hands up almost the entire time, but still made contact. Junior Flemings allowing himself to take a little bit and go to ground. And look at the way that all the bodies line up. Look at Solomon Asante asking for a ball just inside of him. John Baquero lining things up here. Adam John, AJ Cochran all asking for it. Baquero all the way towards the back post, and somehow Restrepo keeps it off the line.
Austin on the counter. Risi, big diagonal ball. Dia gets to it. It falls for Tumasi. Cuts it back. Still Tumasi. Maybe waited a bit too long. Now it's Tierpak and smothered by Lubin. But Lambert's header somehow, some way, denied by Restrepo, and that's how the first half of extra time will come to a close. My goodness.
How does this not end up in the back of the net off Lambert's head on one side? Diego Restrepo has that answer. Now, when you go the other way, Tumasi, you gotta let go of this ball. Now, he does go to ground at the end of this, cramping up. John Baquero, look at this. Is he going for goal? Is he going for glory off the assist? It doesn't matter. One of the biggest saves you will see in the postseason this year. Diego Restrepo making himself as big as possible in front of Lambert on the back post. Then they counterattack and go the other way. Center back Gustavo Risi gets out there. And they had a glorified chance off the counter to steal the thunder from Phoenix Rising. How neither one of these ended up in the back of the net, I will never know.
Well, this is what's on the line. The final spot in the Western Conference semifinals. Everything else is booked. There's one seat left. Who wants it? It's as simple as that. 15 minutes remain in extra time. If not, it'll be a draw. We'll see who advances on penalty kicks. It has been a night to remember at Casino Arizona Field. A tactical, physical, emotional, mental battle between these two sides that split the season series.
This gives you an idea of what they're chasing. This is history that is going to be on the coaching staff's minds, that they're going to want to forget and find a way. I asked Rick Schantz, I said, everybody that has ended up as the #1 seed has fallen. Now this is their history. USL playoffs in 2017, Swope Park Rangers. You and I remember the 2018 game against Sporting AC we watched on the stream. They went down in penalties 5-4, and most recently, the game against New Mexico United earlier this year. I asked him, 4 out of the last 6 #1 seeds have gone down in their first game. When I say that to you, what does that mean? He says, they weren't us. They didn't put up the most goals. They didn't put up the most points. They didn't put up the most wins. They didn't have the Golden Boot winner. They didn't have the guy who set the single season assist record. They didn't have the guy who combined both of those to push themselves into the record books. Now they get a chance to show it. They've got 15 minutes to prove that they should move on to the next round. If you're Austin Bold, you're there. You are almost home. You have given yourself every opportunity, but that final touch just in front of goal has escaped you. We've seen it twice in this game. You're not going to get a third one. Don't make the same mistake a third time.
Well, there is one match we are forgetting. It wasn't of any consequence. It was an exhibition match against Liga de Quito back in the preseason in 2018, the only time that they've come away victorious in a penalty kick shootout. But here we go. A history of falling after the 90 minutes for Phoenix Rising FC. For Austin Bold, the expansion club, no history to report of. They get to write their own. And away we go in the second half of extra time. And Marcelo Serrano's barking for a card on this one. Soto's down. Calistri's pleading his case to the 4th official.
Interesting that you've got an escort over by your linesman, a talking to by your center referee. He's got the overextended arm. It's a foul for sure. If they gave him a card, I think it'd be a bit harsh, but we've seen it for less.
John Clever to at least just get it behind him and put pressure on Austin. Reese would go all the way back for Restrepo, who slowly but surely is starting to become man of the match for Austin on the night, maybe outside of Ima Tumasi. I'll tell you one thing, it'll be mighty interesting to see who Phoenix would choose if it does get to penalties. We asked him the question about Solomon Asante and whether or not he would take one in the run of play. And Solo said he probably at this point, just given how many times he's taken penalties over the course of this season, might hand it off to somebody else. Who that is, Rick Schantz wouldn't exactly show his cards as this one goes to the edge of the area. First time ever from Mukogu, takes a deflection. Lambert doesn't quite get rid of it. Atua Henny on the turn, lets it go, and it's just wide of the near post.
That's something a lot of people can look at and go, oh, he's missed 4 in a row. You know, maybe it's time to pass it on. But it's not just the 4 that he's missed. Some of them haven't been bad penalties. Some of it have been great. But Rick Schantz said it best. These guys have seen him in double-digit numbers this year. You get a look at Solomon Asante. They're professional goalkeepers for a reason. They're going to go watch the tape, understand some of the tendencies, and just try and follow them. That's more recent success for the goalkeepers against Solo compared to earlier on this year.
Flemings looking to get involved. They claim that Flemings was taken down after he was trying to get the latter half of a give and go. No call from Elvis Osmanovic, and Restrepo will restart things. Kalistri's done well since coming on. Driving. Felt like he was fouled by Edson Brafide, no call again. And Tierpak can't quite keep it in play. Tierpak, it got underneath his foot. AJ Cochran stationed appropriately, though. The level of focus and determination is off the charts right now from both of these teams, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Neither team wanting a mental lapse to be their undoing and to send them packing in the 2019 USL Championship postseason. Will it be that or perhaps a moment of individual brilliance? We'll just have to wait and find out. Here's Flemings, certainly capable of that. Flemings still with it. Flemings going for goal and it had the tip on it. Restrepo was interested to say the least. It took a deflection and a corner kick coming up.
The trajectory of this one was a difficult one for Diego Restrepo. As this comes back up over the top, as a goalkeeper, you're immediately going to think, okay, this is going over, let's reset for a corner, but it drops on him at the tail end of it, looking for that upper corner. How about the home squad? Now they're getting into it. They recognize there's 10 minutes here for glory. Can they rally behind their team that has not been at its best? They're just looking for that one moment.
Baquero drives it in, Restrepo stays home. And gathered by Restrepo. Lambert wins it, turns the corner. Flemings tries to let the ball do the work. And it's a foul from Zion McFarland. He's on a yellow card. And the fans that are on top of the players here at Casino Arizona Field want to see the second issue of the mustard, but not quite yet. Dia. Dia stays in play. Now puts it across, deflected in front. Asante. Dia back in. Calistri waiting for it, but Restrepo like a cat coming off of his line. And we're hearing that Jason Johnson is getting set to come on for Solomon Asante. Farrell taken down from behind. And here it is.
Entering the match.
A more than intriguing change from Rick Shantz. Solomon Asante comes off. Jason Johnson, who has not scored since a game in April against the Tacoma Defiance, comes on. Johnson, of course, missing the bulk of the season with a lower body injury. Baquero trying to put it into space for Jason Johnson, getting the better of Soto here. Corey Whelan, how good is that? Little tip of the shoulder and he's away. Out wide for JJ. Phoenix cooking now, substitutes playing a big part. JJ tries to curl it in, and it'll simply be a deep throw in for Phoenix. Goes back for Whelan. Camera clips it in. Nothing too dangerous for Austin, but they clear the danger anyway. Tierpak giving chase. Easy enough for Lubin.
And well done here by Jake Cochran coming all the way back there. Chris Tierpak, one of the substitutes that I'm not going to say has fresh legs. He came in around the 65th, 70th minute. But that's how he introduced himself to this team against the Tulsa Roughnecks earlier this season. Back in June, came on as a substitute. 53rd minute. Proceeded to bag a hat trick in the second half. And then they were off and running. He's been able to put 9 total on the back of the net. So right around 30% of the time, he's tickled the nylon. Is there one more for their guy up top to stretch it? Notice that he's pretty much the lone one up there. They're just looking to knock it long. And at this point in time, the way that it's going for this team, they're looking for penalties. There haven't been a lot of looks for them so far, especially with Rising really going after them on the opposite end.
Both teams still with one substitution at their disposal. Dia in for John. Here comes Restrepo.
That's cramps from both of those boys.
They sort of just gave each other the look, saying, yep, 116 minutes to do that to you.
But it's challenges and stretches like that that are going to help you win a game. You got to dig down deep here. And you're going to go through some of these runs. These guys have been in it before, whether at the youth level or now at the USL Championship playoff level. You make that extra stretch and your body just gives a little bit. Adam John in an offside position there. But when you feel that calf start to tighten up, you got to push through it.
John's just making sure that Adam John is well enough to continue. John, of course, had that Panenka penalty against RGV that went viral in the USL Championship world. Have to imagine that he would certainly be in the 5.
We talked about his penalty save the crew. 2017, knocking out Atlanta United at Atlanta United. One of the better penalties I've ever seen hit. Swivels the hip one way, opens up at the tail end of it, buries it past Braggers end. It was a beautiful strike.
Ball stays in play, forces McFarland to clear it into the stands. He comes up a little bit lame. Flemings bends it in, nobody home. And we're hearing that Ben Spencer is going to come on and replace Adam John. And Ben Spencer was one of the few on Phoenix who converted on a penalty against New Mexico United in that second round loss. Who could forget Cody Mizell shushing the technical bench for Phoenix and the rest of the crowd here at Casino Arizona Field. New Mexico would go on to the quarterfinals and eventually fall to Minnesota United. But of course, we know how their season ended in the USL Championship in the play-in round against Sacramento, thanks to a Thomasina Voltson banger. And here comes Ben Spencer to replace Adam John. And Spencer, really, you can make the argument he deserves this opportunity. He's been phenomenal coming off the bench for Phoenix over the past month and a half.
One of the biggest issues for him was regular appearances, but when they started him sending him down to FC Tucson, he went back and forth. That's when you started to see him pick up some goals. Remember, 12 appearances into the season, he only had 1 goal. He's got 4 out of the last 5 now, so he's done quite well for himself down the stretch, as you mentioned, and a guy that from the spot, both he and Adam John converted, but fresh legs, maybe an opportunity to just stretch the game a few times here with the minuscule amount of minutes left on the clock, and also someone that does give you that option where the mental side of things, he's got that swag about him. He has no problem stepping it up and going after anybody if his number is called upon going into the penalty shootout.
Certainly looks like we're headed that way. There was always bound to be one. And why not the number 1 versus the number 8 seed in the Western Conference? Going the distance. Ball sent into space. Corey Whelan has some work to do, but he's done a lot more difficult in his career. Diaz still getting forward, but he puts himself and his team in a really tough spot after giving the ball away. Junior Flemings. Tomasi, overlapping run by McFarland, and across for Tierpak, and a wonderful challenge from Joey Farrell.
This takes everything out of Chris Tierpak to get to the near post. When his team started to counterattack, he almost put his head down, discussed like, oh man, I got to get on my horse and do this again. But really well done by the Philadelphia Flyer. Joey Farrell once again stepping up to everything that has been asked of him, coming on as a substitute when Dabuya went down.
Taylor, who's down for Austin.
Whether you agree with it or not, he didn't want her to come on the pitch, and the argument now is he's going to step off. But I'll tell you this, I'm not putting my hands on the referee. You got to be really careful there. You and I saw that unfortunate situation where Raymond Lee got up underneath one of the refs in a Hartford Athletic game. Now, he wasn't trying to make contact, but it happened. They threw him out. You have to be very careful because there is no gray area here.
So now Austin down to 10 men for the moment until Jermaine Taylor returns. $120 minutes gone. Corner kick for Austin. A date with the Monarchs on the line. Ball whipped in, Lubin stays home, and it's won by A.J. Cochran.
There's space here. If Baquero can play quickly, there's space over here on the right side. Watch out, this could be a card.
Of stoppage time remaining in this 15-minute period.
And we have 3 minutes of stoppage time in the second half of extra time. That man has been a menace tonight. That man at 34 years of age has taken a few knocks. Spencer tried to elevate, but a big header won. And now here comes Austin Bolt threatening in the dying moments of this one. And A.J. Cochran to the rescue. Now it's Phoenix on the other end. Space to work with. Baquero. Junior Flemings. And that's been the story of the night. You can make the argument for both teams. When the moment needs quality, the quality is non-existent.
Some really good looks, too. A sitter by Ima Tomasi. We also had a second one here where Chris Tierpak was running with him. And how about for Rising? Whether it was Solomon Asante or Junior Flemings, they had a lot of chances that have just been thwarted away. And to be honest, they've thrown it themselves. It's another example where they step in and you start to go, and then you can't get it done. If you want to be the best, you have to show why, and this is one of those moments. Do you have what it takes to push yourself past that threshold of utter pain and push your team into victory?
Final moments of this one. It sneaks underneath Soto. It almost fell for Calistri. against Austin. Corey Wheeler wants to put it down and play. Looks like Ellis Osmanovic is ready to blow the final whistle and send us into penalties. But Phoenix want one more say. Dia. Lambert back for Calistri. Numbers arriving for Phoenix. Left-footed delivery, out of play, and that might do it. That's gonna do it. It's simple math, folks. What do you get when you put together no goals in 2 hours of play? Penalties. Restrepo, heroic when he needed to be. Zach Lubin in the same boat. Now the only thing that'll float either of these sides' playoff boats is quality, composure, and maybe a fingertip save or two for the men in between the sticks.
Based upon the way these teams have played each other, it had to be, honestly. All the storylines, positive, negative, whatever you want to say. Defensive-minded team in Austin Bold that was basically unbeatable until September at home. Struggled to find results on the road. But that was a different story down the stretch. How about Phoenix Rising FC? No one could touch them. Months on end. Questions were asked of so many squads, and nobody could step up to it. Phoenix Rising just ran away from everybody, not just in the Western Conference. In the USL Championship, set all sorts of records. We mentioned most goals in a season, best goal differential, most points, most wins, you name it, it's all there. But again, they are chasing ghosts that do not want to come out of the closet. This is what the #1 seed has done over the past few seasons. Who can forget Real Monarchs? That team at that point in time had the points record. They had the wins record, which was at 9 before Cincinnati in 18 took it down. They lost to Sacramento, who, oh, by the way, they got knocked off the year before. Sacramento, they won it in 14. Outside Sacramento Republic in 2014 and Orange County in 2018. 4 out of the last 6 has dropped in the first round. Phoenix Rising are on the verge of being knocked out. But that's the thing, you've got a chance though. It doesn't matter how you played up until this point. Now is when you look at the guy next to you and you say, who's with me? Who wants to step up and go get this done? You want to write your name in history books? Don't look down the line at the trophy. Look right here into my eyes. 5 shots, let's go to work.
Well, they are trying to exorcise ghosts that have been haunting them. It's pretty simple. Every time that they've gone beyond 90 minutes, they have failed to get the job done. 2017 USL playoffs against Swope Park Rangers, horrific penalty kick taking. 2018 US Open Cup, it was terrible as well against Sporting Arizona. 2019 Open Cup against New Mexico United. Cody Mizell and company getting the better of them right here at Casino Arizona Field. They're without their MVP, their leader, their captain, Solomon Asante. Rick Schatz electing to bring on JJ, who now is sporting the captain's armband. Meanwhile, for Austin Bold, they're playing with house money. They played just a few days ago against Los Angeles Galaxy 2 in their first game since the passing of their teammate, Promise Isaac, and they put on a show, coming away with a 2-0 win. They stopped playing in the 11th minute to honor their fallen comrade, and now they find themselves against the dragon of the USL Championship in the 2019 campaign. Eerily reminiscent of that Mark Briggs leg side of the Real Monarchs in 2017 that fell in penalty kicks to the 8th-seeded Sacramento Republic in Salt Lake City. But all the storylines aside, all the ghosts aside, this is the here, this is the now. It's Zach Lubin and Diego Restrepo. It's Marcelo Serrano's 5 against Rick Schantz's 5. Carl Wazinski was the keeper in the U.S. Open Cup match against New Mexico United. Carl Wazinski was the keeper in the U.S. Open Cup match against Sporting Arizona in 2018. And it was Josh Cohen in between the sticks in 2017 against the Swope Park Rangers. But who would you want other than Zach Lubin, who recorded 13 clean sheets this year and was one of the front runners for goalkeeper of the year?
He's done well from the spot as well. He's pretty impressive when it comes down to penalties. And think about the past for Phoenix Rising. We can't dig into Austin Bold and their history because it doesn't exist. You said it. They get to rewrite any chapter that they want right now. The only person remaining from that 2017 squad that lost to Swope Park Rangers, who took one and has taken one every single one of those spots, that's Amadou Dia, your left back, a guy who can strike the ball with the best of them. Kevin Lambert hit one back in 2017 as well. You look at 18, who's still around? Jason Johnson was in the lineup. And how about the 2019 squad earlier this year that lost to New Mexico United? This was your order. Your order was Adam John, Solomon Asante, Dia missed, Ben Spencer converted, and AJ Cochran had the vital blow that Cody Mizell took out. Where will Rick Schanz go this time around? And what sort of tricks does Marcelo Serrano have up his sleeves?
First up, it's Chris Tierpak for Austin Bold. Zach Lubin awaits. And Tierpak buries it. Sans the headgear. Doesn't need it.
It's a good penalty, honestly. And we talked about how can you convert from situations like this? Yeah, it's a guessing game of sorts, but it's also watch his hips. The hips are a big thing here. Quick close right at the tail end of it. Nice pace, upper corner. Great spot kick. Zach Lubin goes the other way, 1-0.
And now first up for Phoenix, the Reggae Boy, Junior Flemings. A boisterous year with Phoenix Rising in his first season, to say the least. 15 goals. Short run up from the spot. And buries it. That is classy. 1-1 after the first round.
It's just some of that nonchalant confidence that you want from the Island boys. You're on Island time, you take your time. But when you convert, it's oh so sweet. Quick little step, bottom corner. Junior Fleming says, all right, let's keep it going, round 2.
The loneliest walk in all of sports. Now taken by the substitute, the Frenchman, the University of Delaware product, Thomas DiViardi. Saved by Lubin. Listen to Casino Arizona Field rock.
This is a personal preference of mine, but just step up and hit the ball. Left footers, you gotta know better. All this ticky-tacky dancy stuff. No, put your laces on the ball, stick it in the back of the net. Instead, you start to throw yourself off. He doesn't get enough power. He doesn't get it outside the block. Now this is still a difficult save to make, but Zach Lubin steps up, puts his boys out in front.
Now it's the Spaniard, the loan from Toronto FC, John Baquero. The man who makes Phoenix go in the middle of the park. The Wake Forest product. To Phoenix after the second round. That's a laser.
Don't mind if you do. Expected more out of him tonight, but he had a rough job. He was covering Junior Flemings on that left side, up and down all night long. And you're outside back, a guy who is experiencing cramps. This is what I'm talking about. Put your head down and let's go to work. That's beautifully taken penalty.
Now Joey Calistri. He's stolen some headlines over the past month or so. He has very much been the super sub. This would be a super time for a penalty conversion, and he's got it. Not rattled by the moment. 3-2 to Phoenix after 3 rounds.
More importantly, it's not just the fact that he converts, it's the back-ended pressure being applied to the number 4 shooter for Austin Bold. They have officially reached must-make with that miss by DiViardi in the second spot and the great save by Zach Lubin. You have no room for gray area whatsoever. You have to make, and it's going to be their outside back, Josue Soto, who's going to be asked.
Soto rolls it to the other side.
The best penalty, to be honest, but sometimes when you just send the goalkeeper the other way, it doesn't have to be overly forceful. And again, not a lot of steps, but that's okay. Still, that bottom L angle, he knows. Shout out to his boys. We see you. That's a great penalty, buddy.
Kevin Lambert, a rising star in the world of football. And it's saved by Restrepo. Not the first time that Lambert has been denied from the spot. And things just got a whole lot more interesting. It is 3-3.
This is the man who led the charge against the Swope Park Rangers, bursting onto the scene as one of the more positive youngsters to come into American football. Missed his penalty back then. That's 2 in a row for Lambert. And now, final shooters, even Stevens when we go to number 5.
This is bone-chilling stuff. Edson Brafide. The man has participated in a World Cup final at the spot. Right down the middle. And all the pressure falls on Phoenix.
Interestingly enough, he was actually brought on in the game against Spain in the 2010 World Cup final to go as the set piece specialist for penalties. They never made it there. Lost in overtime. Spain got him out in front. That was their first World Cup. This is where you want your veterans to step up. And now, Ben Spencer, the guy who has had a lot of the headlines alongside Joey Calistri. 4 goals in his last couple matches. He's got to convert to keep the boys alive in this beautiful dream season on to the next round.
Ben Spencer, and it sneaks underneath Restrepo. He gambled staying down the middle, and he can't keep it out. My goodness. Hearts throughout the entire desert dropped.
Diego Restrepo, that was it, buddy. This is your Golden Glove winning moment, and it escaped you. Does not take that much for you to get down in this situation. That's when you've gotten into your own mind. You got to do better.
Now to the penalty kick takers who weren't at the forefront of the mind of their coaches. Olomio Kugo, round number 6, just by the fingertips of Lubin. Talk about a game of inches, it's a game of nanometers.
2018. Record setters, FC Cincinnati, first round matchup, Nashville SC. They went to 6 to get it done. Phoenix Rising following the same exact path. Amobi Okugo pushes it across his body. This is a difficult penalty to take. The straight walk on, then bring it back across. And now, Joey Farrell. I tell you, they are digging deep right now to find an equalizer.
Now it's your substitute center back whose playing time has dwindled over the past few months. Farrell buries it. We head to round number 7. And for Austin, Francis Atua heading. Former Michigan Wolverine. Totally sends Lubin the wrong way. Tongue out. Swag back to midfield. And again, Phoenix must answer.
The Ghanaian's been taking notes from Solomon Asante. Watch this little stutter right there. Again, if you don't stop, you can get away with it. It's a slow little roll. Promise you weren't getting away with that under Shaka Daly at Michigan. That was not happening. You'd be right back on the sideline. But that's why he got his chance at the next level.
And now Jason Johnson. A man who has not put the ball in the back of the net in more than 6 months. To keep the game alive. And it's Johnson with absolute class who sends us into an 8th round.
Never a doubt. Island time for one, but he speeds things up. It's always at Jason Johnson's pace. He is one of the guys that's converted from the spot before. Part of that Open Cup run in 2018 that didn't last very long. But again, veteran leadership stepping up. They got him back to health. They get him back to a set piece opportunity. Normally that's outside of the 18, but they'll take it from any spot at this point in time.
Now we're really digging deep into the penalty kick takers that might have not even wanted to take one. If any man deserves to put one in the back of the net tonight, it's this one. Ibu Tomasi's been brilliant. Tomasi. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
You and I kind of look at each other during these things like, should I go, should you go? I'm just going to sit back and say, watch this kid and the tact that he has on him, pushing this ball outside of his hips. When you line up this slow, it's hard to get enough pace behind it. Golf clap. Well done. Move on. Let's go again.
Bottom of the 8th. Amadou Dia. To keep it going. Just by Restrepo. And we'll head to a 9th round. Shades of OKC Energy FC and Swamp Park Rangers in 2017.
These boys are starting to bark back and forth with each other right now. Ibu Tomasi had a few words for the supporter section behind this goal. Amadou Dia had something said to him. He turned around, let him know how he felt. No matter what, that's in the back of the net.
Now it is the wily, and when I say wily, I mean it, veteran in Jermaine Taylor. More than 100 caps for the Reggae Boys. Saved by Lubin. And Phoenix, if they convert, will host the Monarchs next week. To clear off the streamers, some of the Phoenix fans quite literally counting their chickens before they hatch. Restrepo still has a say in this. And it's A.J. Cochran. Not many center backs who strike a sweeter ball than number 3. And he was denied in the Open Cup by Cody Mizell. Cochran and Phoenix are off to the Western Conference semifinals. 2019 campaign will come back to the scene of the crime that occurred just 2 weeks ago. Phoenix finally have their win in penalty kicks.
How's he feeling right now? Remember, this was the guy, last striker of the ball against New Mexico United, denied by Cody Mizell, and that sits on you. As a player, you always second guess yourself, you worry, but there's something about left footers, and I'm not just saying that because I'm one of them, that it's some sort of confidence that you go back and know that you can get it done. Remember, the penalties were on the other side of the field against New Mexico United. They were not in front of the supporter section. That walk, yes, one of the loneliest that can be, but also when you have an environment like Casino Arizona Field where you rattle off 17 in a row, they didn't care that they lost to Real Monarchs. They felt like that one got away, but it was an accident. They couldn't point fingers at anybody. So they came in with plenty of confidence, especially after the win over Energy FC. No worries whatsoever. Tested in a million ways tonight. You felt like, okay, this is the breaking point. Shades of FC Cincinnati of 2018. But in dramatic fashion, look, they outdid everything else that Cincinnati did. Points, wins, goal differential. Why not extend the penalties a bit further? FC Cincinnati went to 6 rounds, they go to 9. Most importantly, they're moving on.
Zach Lubin, after 120 minutes of scoreless football, is by far your Mobile Mini man of the match. How could you not be romantic about the game of football? AJ Cochran, who ended Phoenix's short-lived U.S. Open Cup run, keeps their USL Championship playoff hopes alive, sends them into the conference semifinals, and every ticket is punched for the Final Four west of the Mississippi. It'll be Phoenix and the Monarchs. It'll be the Quails and El Paso Locomotive. And I have a feeling there are a lot of busted brackets out there.
Just trying to figure out, who do we submit the overtime to? Is that part of this, or I guess that wasn't in the union contract. That's fine. Here's an interesting one. No matter what happens, the next match, obviously Phoenix, either one of them, they're hosting. So Sacramento, El Paso, no matter what, you're going to have to go on the road multiple games in a row. Remember, Sacramento Republic got to host the play-in game. They beat Reno on the road. They're going to have to go to El Paso Locomotive. And if they want to keep going on, you're going to just have to keep running this back. But for Phoenix Rising, heads high, because this was a game that could have easily ended in a whole nother direction. That's not the case. Held your heads high, 9 rounds. Lucky number 9 for AJ Cochran. He pushes them forth, and this season rattles on.
Well, it wasn't pretty, it wasn't glamorous. But in the postseason, in a single elimination format, who cares? You just simply need to land the plane. And these passengers here at Casino Arizona Field experienced more than some turbulence. It was downright doubtful at times, but Phoenix Rising Football Club exercised their ghost from years past and finally get their win in extra time and in penalty kicks. They will take on the Real Monarchs in what was quite literally a bloody affair here at Casino Arizona Field. Your final score is a draw in regular time. Phoenix advances on penalties. For our entire crew, we'll talk to you soon.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.